pirates, summon the heroic spirit Drake at the beginning. Author, like the wind. Page 351. And on Peluslino's ship, Hai-Jun and others also looked at Peluslino with extremely bad expressions. Obviously, they had some unpleasant conversations with Peluslino. Marshal Ziyun, I brought people from the Navy over here. After Peluslino jumped on the Nine Snakes pirate ship and reported to Ziyun, he stood behind Ziyun, as if Ziyun was the leader. Seeing Peluslino's behavior, the crane that was about to say something because of seeing Peluslino also shut his mouth. Mr. Yellow Monkey, why did you betray the Navy? Momotu still finds it hard to believe Peluslino's behavior. Now that he sees him in person, he wants to ask. I have never been your companion, so I can't talk about betrayal. Peluslino tilted his neck and said coldly, Borusalino, have you been lying to us all these years? On the naval warship, Saikolsky stared at Peluslino. Isn't this Sarkarsky and you are here too? Peluslino plucked his ear. You are so lucky that you didn't participate in the last battle. Otherwise, you would be the captive now. Speaking of which, you guys have always liked to yell, don't you know it's noisy? Borusalino, you bastard. One day, I will personally put you in a big prison under the sea. Saikolsky growled angrily. That will disappoint you, Saikolsky. Peluslino shook his head. Although we were once called admirals, there is a qualitative gap between me and you. Peluslino glanced at Saikolsky, and the contempt in his eyes was clearly revealed. You don't think that my strength is only what I once showed, Saikolsky? Borusalino, shout out to Saikolsky. Fellow reminds you, 3 things about reading, bookmark, push. Okay, Saikolsky, don't argue with Peluslino, now he is only our enemy. Sengoku boarded the Navy warship and said weakly. Although Tsunade had already distributed the antidote to them when Peluslino took them away again, but Sengoku and other navies are still somewhat weak when the effect of the medicine has not yet been fully exerted. Sarkarsky, it's better for everyone to go back safely now. Zanduo walked to Sarkarsky's side. Because of this incident, we still have a lot of things to deal with. Let everyone go back to the Navy headquarters first. Hearing Sengoku's words, Sarkarsky took a deep breath, then turned and walked towards the cabin. He knew that his mission here this time was not to conflict with Ziyun's group, or even to fight. Instead, escort Sengoku and Garp and other mainstays of the Navy back to the Navy headquarters safely. During the period when Sengoku and others were captured, the Navy was not sure whether they would be seriously injured. Therefore, in the meeting of the Navy headquarters, everyone unanimously agreed to let the high-strength Akainu general be escorted to prevent being attacked by other big pirates. Then, Peluslino, next time we meet, we will be enemies, so take care of yourself. After speaking, Zango walked towards the cabin. The other navies also looked at Peluslino in a very complicated manner, and then left with Sengoku. Afterwards, Crane and Momotu jumped aboard the Navy's warship. Soon, under the operation of the Navy, the warship began to move away from the Chambord Islands and headed for the headquarters of the Navy. Then, things here are over. Ziyun smiled, and looked at Hancock not far away. Then, Hancock, we're leaving first. However, that fellow Sarkarsky seems to dislike you very much. You should be careful about their Navy in the future. However, because of my relationship, the Navy should not be too blatant to trouble you. So that's it. See you later. After speaking, Ziyun left the pirate ship with Mordred and Peluslino, and quickly flew towards the Chambord Islands. Sister, what should we do next? Sanderson Ear asked worriedly. However, Hancock didn't seem to hear it, and stared straight at Ziyun's back. Hey, Sanderson Ear, let's take Serpentine back to Amazon Lily first. The Navy has begun to mistrust us, and we must return to the Amazon Lily as soon as possible. Granny said, there is a natural windless belt there, at least the Navy dare not attack us casually. Page 352. Besides, if you explain it to them well, it shouldn't make things difficult for Shiji. Sanderson Ear glanced at Hancock, who was a bit out of his mind, and nodded slightly. Okay, Grandma. In any case, it must be right to return to our territory, and the people on the island are also waiting for my sister to go back. Sanderson Ear made a decision and turned to look at the pirate crew. Everyone, now we are sailing to the Amazon Lily at the fastest speed. Yes, Lord Sanderson Ear. The female soldiers responded in unison. Soon, pirate ship, under the pull of 2 giant snakes, it began to sail, and the speed became faster and faster. On the other hand, after Ziyun returned to the Chambord Islands, he returned to his room. Think about what kind of partner to call over next. However, considering that his team already has partners with various job agencies, Ziyun no longer has too many requirements for summoning professions. Finally, after thinking about it for a while, Ziyun decided to summon his assassin professional partner. I hope this assassin partner can let me learn the ability to block the breath. Ziyun thought silently in his heart. This is also the skill that Ziyun hoped to acquire a long time ago. Although Ziyun could hide himself for a short time using the circle of Bajakan, but it didn't last long. After thinking about it, Ziyun communicated with the system in his mind and summoned his assassin professional partners. Soon, the summoning ended, and as the light of the summoning array disappeared, a cold but graceful figure appeared in front of Ziyun's eyes. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the treasure fantasy Iron Maiden. This is really, a remarkable person has come. Looking at the figure in front of me, the musician that I summoned before I reached myself. Elizabeth Bathory, Ziyun couldn't help sighing. I have been summoned. Hello, young master, servant assassin, I obey your call. Please call me Camilla. Camilla walked in front of Ziyun with graceful steps. Camilla gently lifted Ziyun's chin with her right hand. This master is really cute, although you are not a girl, your blood must be very sweet. So, as the price of the contract, can you give me some of your blood? Forehead. Although he knew Camilla's habits and knew that she liked the blood of young girls, Ziyun never thought that such a scene would appear after summoning her. However, after thinking that even if he was sucked a little blood, nothing would happen, so he decided to agree with Camilla's idea. After all, Ziyun has no intention of refusing his partner's small request. Well, since you say so, I can't refuse. Ziyun nodded. However, don't suck too much blood, Camilla. Relax, my master. Camilla put her head next to Ziyun's ear, and said softly, I don't want a lovely child like you to die in vain like this. Camilla stretched out her tongue and lightly licked Ziyun's earlobe. Then it went all the way down from Ziyun's earlobe, and slowly filled it to Ziyun's neck. It's really sweet, it's unbearable. Camilla took a deep breath on Ziyun's neck, as if there was something extremely attractive to her under Ziyun's skin. Then, I'm going to start, my master. After speaking, Camilla opened her mouth slightly, revealing her two fangs, and slowly bit into Ziyun's neck. After a slight pain, Ziyun soon felt a suction coming from the place where Camilla bit. He clearly felt that his blood was flowing far and continuously into Camilla's mouth. Chapter 253. As Ziyun's blood entered Camilla's mouth, Camilla couldn't help stretching out her hands, and hugged Ziyun tightly, letting Ziyun stick tightly to her chest. Page 353. At the same time, greedily absorbing Ziyun's blood, the teeth biting Ziyun's neck went deeper, making it easier for the blood to spill out. Ziyun also clearly felt that the speed of blood loss was accelerating. Camilla, can we just come here first? A few minutes later, Ziyun said with a pale face. Originally thought that Camilla just sucked a little blood, but until now, Camilla has not let him go. If this amount of bleeding is placed on an ordinary person, it may have already reached the level of death. What? Hearing Ziyun's words, Camilla's head slowly left Ziyun's neck. And after swallowing the last mouthful of Ziyun's blood, Camilla couldn't help snorting in satisfaction. My skin has become as beautiful as before. Ah, this is beauty. Camilla stretched out her right hand and gently stroked Ziyun's face. I really didn't expect that the master's blood is so delicious. It's even more delicious than the blood of those girls I've ever felt. Hey, master, I realize that I have completely fallen in love with you. You have to be responsible to me. As he spoke, Camilla stretched out her red tongue, and slightly licked her red lips. Well, Camilla, it's not a problem to suck blood, but can you stop sucking so much? Ziyun shook his head helplessly. I feel like I'm going to be anemic. Alabama, I'm so sorry, master, because the taste of your blood is so good, so I couldn't hold back for a while. Camilla stretched out her fingers, tapped the blood remaining at the corner of her mouth, and then slid across her beautiful red lips, as if applying lipstick to make her twins turn bright red. This reward, let me reward you well. After finishing speaking, Camilla raised Ziyun's chin, kissed Ziyun's mouth deeply. After dyeing Ziyun's Hong-chan into bright red, Camilla sent Ziyun away contentedly. However, when leaving, Camilla mischievously bit Ziyun's Shang-chan. Manager, I have created a new song and want to show it to you. Outside the door, a youthful and lively voice came in. I'm coming in. After finishing speaking, before Ziyun had time to say anything, the door of the room was opened. In an instant, the gestures of Camilla and Ziyun were imprinted in the intruder's eyes. What are you doing? Also, you are not the grown-up me, are you? Elizabeth Bathory, who wore an icon-inspired skirt, yelled. TCH, I didn't expect to see my young self here. Camilla let go. Ziyun turned around and looked at Elizabeth, who rushed in. Just seeing you makes people feel bored from the bottom of their hearts. This is my line. Sabeth pointed to Camilla and said, Master, no, how could you be summoned like this? This is me who has fallen into a vampire. It is very dangerous. Elizabeth ran to Ziyun's side and forcibly pulled him to herself. Camilla, you are not allowed to take action against my manager. What a naive brat. I am you. Is it really okay for you to say that about me? Camilla stroked her scarlet lips. And, the blood, I have already tasted it. Pass. What? Elizabeth turned around, supported Ziyun's shoulder and shook vigorously. Manager, are you okay? I heard that if bitten by a vampire, the bitten person will also become a vampire. Could it be that you, manager, are going to become a vampire? In this case, don't you want to suck blood? Elizabeth frowned in confusion. I can't help it, manager. If you want to suck blood, come and suck my blood. Having said this, Elizabeth pulled back her collar and exposed her snow-white neck to Ziyun. Seeing Elizabeth's expression, Ziyun smiled, slightly moved, then gently embraced Elizabeth, and licked her neck gently. And Elizabeth also trembled involuntarily. "Well, I'm not going to be a vampire yet." Page 354. After flirting with Elizabeth, Ziyun smiled and patted her. "Besides, since the two of you are my companions now, I hope you two will get along well in their future." "That can't be done." Camilla frowned tightly. "This guy is still so cheerful when he knows that I am her stranger. I can't tolerate this." "Me too, because my future is like this. I have to do my best to deny her," Elizabeth said. "If that's the case, then I won't suck your blood for Camilla in the future." "In addition, Elizabeth, your singing room on the Golden Deer, I also want to take it back," Ziyun said. Camilla and Elizabeth looked at each other. Complex expressions flashed in their eyes. "Don't take back my singing room, manager." Elizabeth hugged Ziyun violently, and cried loudly, "Coo, coo. I just want to get along well with her, master. Please don't make me unable to sing, okay?" "Well, for master's sake, I can reluctantly accept her." Camilla shook her head. "At least, I won't conflict with her. The premise is that she doesn't take the initiative to trouble me." "That's right," Ziyun said with a smile. "Seeing that Elizabeth you promised me, I decided to add new equipment to your performance room." "Real?" Elizabeth changed her weeping appearance, and looked at Ziyun with stars in her eyes. "Certainly." Ziyun smiled and nodded. "I specifically asked Tesla to develop a brand new music device for you and Nero. I believe it won't take long before it can be installed for you." "Excellent, Agent." As she spoke, Elizabeth happily kissed Ziyun's cheek. "By the way, Master, let's listen to my song first. I've been preparing for this for a long time." Ziyun: "Well, now I'll start. The future me, for the sake of the Master, let you also appreciate my genius voice." After speaking, Elizabeth couldn't wait to sing. In an instant, the terrifying singing began to float in Ziyun's room. "Tch, I really can't get along with this guy." Hearing Elizabeth singing, Camilla frowned suddenly. Afterwards, he quickly walked out of Ziyun's room, and closed the door firmly, leaving Ziyun alone in the room to appreciate Elizabeth's singing. After Elizabeth finally sang the song she wrote and directed, Ziyun's pale face, which had been sucked by Camilla's blood, turned paler. Although Ziyun admitted that Elizabeth's dance just now was indeed full of youthful atmosphere, and matched with his cute face, it was indeed a dance that was seductive to their eyes. However, coupled with Elizabeth's magical singing, her dance music has completely become a nightmare that can destroy people's spirits. Ziyun has not been able to understand until now. It is obviously just an ordinary song. Why? Elizabeth must intersperse the dragon's roar in the middle. After complimenting Elizabeth out of nowhere and sending her out of the room, Ziyun lay down heavily on the bed. After resting on the bed for a while, Ziyun stood up, ready to call the second partner. "This time I got 10 devil fruits from the Navy and one devil fruit from Jinbi." Ziyun intends to keep one as a spare, and use the rest to summon new partners, so there are still 4 times to summon. System, continue to help me summon assassins. In order to make up for his shortcomings of not being good at concealing himself, Ziyun is determined to learn the breath-blocking skill from the assassin. Because of the obsession with the breath-blocking skill in his heart, when Ziyun saw their constantly rotating summoning circle in front of him this time, he was also looking forward to it. Soon, the summoning ended, and a petite and lovely figure walked out of the summoning array. The assassin, Jack the Ripper. Page 355. "Please take care of me, Mum." A soft voice came from Jack's mouth. "Congratulations to the host, you have acquired the skills of Jack the Ripper." With the appearance of Jack, the mechanical voice of the system appeared in Ziyun's mind at the same time. Jack's skill. Ziyun just started to have doubts about what the system said, and a lot of them just started to flash in his mind. "This is really a big prize. I didn't expect to summon a partner, since I can still get such a skill." Echoing the extra content in his mind, Ziyun couldn't help sighing. After checking the extra content in his mind, Ziyun confirmed that he had learned all the skills she possessed from Jack, except for Ziyun's thoughts. Breath blocking. In addition, it copied all the abilities of Jack and other treasures. Mom, are you okay?" Seeing that Ziyun didn't have himself, Jack kept smirking and approached Ziyun. Sorry, Jack, I was thinking of something just now." Ziyun, who came back to his senses, saw Jack's cute appearance, and couldn't help calling her. Hugged in her arms, and gently stroking her white hair with one hand. "Jack, my name is Ziyun. You can call me by my first name instead of my mother." "Why?" Jack tilted his head. "Mom, it's Mum. Why can't you call me?" "Forget it. Mother is mother." Ziyun shook his head, and at the same time communicated in his heart that the system strengthened Jack. "Wow, Jack has become stronger. Thank you, Mum," Jack said with a smile. Seeing Jack's cute appearance, Ziyun couldn't help rubbing her face vigorously. However, children can't wear such clothes outside. Ziyun lifted Jack up, and put a lot of clothes on her. In Ziyun's heart, even in the eyes of adults, such clothes are extremely bold. Ziyun didn't want the young Jack to walk outside in such a costume. Therefore, Ziyun decided to temporarily stop summoning new partners, and take Jack out to buy some suitable clothes first. Jack, Would you like to hang out with me? Ziyan put Jack down and said with a smile. Well, mother goes there, Jack goes there. Jack nodded. Ziyan smiled, took her off his coat, and put it on Jack. Then he carried her out of the room and walked towards the clothing store. On the other side, when Ziyan took Jack to play in Chambord Islands, a wave of heavyweight pirates has landed on the Chambord Islands. It's finally here. Baron Eggy, a member of the Big Mom Pirates, took a sip of black tea from the cup on his head. Bokamoose, don't mess around here. You also know the record of the Drake Pirates. They were able to repel the coalition forces of their navy and the world government. From this point of view, they are definitely not simple characters. Thinking that Bokamoose usually likes to use brute force to solve problems, Baron Eggy especially asked. Understood. I don't know how many times you have said it. Bokamoose dug his ears, looking impatient. Besides, it's not us who are in charge this time. I will obey Mr. Smoothie's command. Saying that, Bokamoose looked behind him. The leader of their operation this time, a black-skinned woman with a height of more than 4 meters, wearing a hat and a scarf, with white hair, a long-legged tattoo on her legs, and a long sword with a spiral scabbard on her back. Page 356. 5. Let's go. Baron Eggy, Bokamoose. Let's hurry up and finish the task that mother gave us. The pirates, the 14th daughter of Charlotte Lingerling, one of the 4 emperors, Charlotte. Smoothie walked up to the two of them. I feel bad here. It's too dangerous. Let's hurry up and send out the tea party invitation letter to that black-haired admiral, and get out of here quickly. The battle between the Drake Pirates and the Navy and the world government has just ended, and the big shots in the New World have also received the news of the victory of Ziyan and his party. For this supernova pirate group that can easily defeat the Navy and the coalition forces of their world government, the 4 emperors in the New World do not dare to underestimate them at all. They also recognized Ziyan's status as the 5th emperor in their hearts. Especially Charlotte Lingerling, after learning of the victory of the Drake Pirates, urged her children to send invitations to Ziyan for the tea party, hoping to get Ziyan's support through marriage. Although I understand what my mother is doing, do you think you can really succeed, Baron X? Walking on the road, Smoothie, who attracted many passers-by because of his height, asked. Don't worry, Smoothie, we didn't come here to fight them. Eggy Baron replied. Also, although the Drake Pirates are very strong, our pirates are also very strong. I believe that after thoroughly offending the Navy and the world government, Ziyan will not wish to become an enemy with us again. At this time, it is a wise choice for them to choose to form an alliance with us. I hope so. Smoothie nodded. By the way, Baron Eggy, do you know who Mom is planning to marry Ziyan this time? Ziyan seems to have quite a few female companions. Under such circumstances, let the sisters can marrying him really win him over? That's why I called you here, Mrs. Smoothie. Egg Baron said. What's the meaning? Smoothie frowned. Master Smoothie is the top carder of our pirate group and one of the 3 generals. Mom has already decided that you will marry Ziyan. Baron Eggy took a sip of tea and looked at Smoothie with a little doubt. Didn't Mommy tell you about this? Before leaving, my mother planned to say something to me, but she just explained to me about this mission, and her food cravings broke out. After that, I ran away first. Smoothie shook his head. Not long after, Brother Category arranged for me to take the 2 of you out. However, I really didn't expect that my mother would arrange for me to marry this time. You are one of the most outstanding members of our pirate group, and mother arranged for you to marry Ziyan because of the importance attached to this marriage. Moreover, I think that Mrs. Smoothie is also a very good woman. That black-haired admiral will also be fascinated by you. Egg Baron said. I hope so. Smoothie nodded. As the daughter of Charlotte Lingerling, Smoothie has long been prepared to be married by her mother. Although after becoming one of the 3 generals, as one of the main players of the pirate group, she once thought that Charlotte Lingerling might not arrange for her to marry. However, Smoothie is still very satisfied with Ziyan as his marriage partner. After all, the owner of Ziyan can fight against the Navy and the world government, and its own strength is also extremely powerful. Although about sharing Ziyan with other women, in general, Smoothie is quite satisfied with Charlotte Lingerling's arrangement. While Smoothie and the others were walking towards Gilgamesh's palace, Ziyan also bought new clothes for Jack. At this moment Jack is wearing a black dress, running in front of Ziyan. Mom, hurry up and play with me. With a happy smile on Jack's face, he called Ziyan. Hearing Jack's words, Ziyan, who was not far behind Jack, nodded. Hey. Jack smiled and started to run. Boom. Jack, who was running fast, didn't notice the situation ahead, and accidentally bumped into a person. Jack stepped back slightly, and looked up at the person he had met. Where did you come from, kid? Didn't your parents teach you not to run around on the street? Page 357. Hearing the sound, Bokamoose turned his head and saw Jack hit Smoothie's heel, and immediately yelled at Jack. Jack heard the sound and looked at Smoothie. Lionhead. Jack bit his finger, tilted his head and said. His eyes were full of curiosity about Bokamoose, who was a fur tribe. Okay, Bokamoose, we'd better not cause trouble here. Smoothie stopped Bokamoose, intending to ignore Jack and continue walking towards his destination. That's right, Pokmus, you can treat a little lady as a gentleman. Baron Denton looked at Jack. Little girl, next time you go to the street, you must let your parents follow you, otherwise you may encounter bad people. Egg. Jack looked at Baron Eggy and said, it's not an egg. Baron Denton took her off his courtesy and gave a standard gentleman's salute. I'm a capable person who ate the Denton fruit. That's why I became like this. Okay, Baron Eggy, we still have important things to do, so just ignore her, said Smoothie, and turned and walked on. All right. Baron Eggy stood up again and followed Smoothie's footsteps. Children, be careful in the future, Pokmus said to Jack with a fierce look. Lion, can you disassemble? Suddenly 2 daggers appeared in Jack's hands, and he looked at Pokmus innocently. Seeing the sudden appearance of the dagger in Jack's hand, Pokmus was stunned, and just about to react, Jack turned into a swift black shadow and rushed towards Pokmus. Pokmus dodged to the side instinctively, and quickly dodged the dagger that Jack swung at his head. However, even so, a deep wound still appeared on his face. Hearing the sound, Smoothie and Egg Baron quickly turned around, and when they saw that Pokmus was pressing his wound with one hand, and a lot of blood was continuously drawing down his face, they couldn't help staring. Widened his eyes. Afterwards, the two looked at Jack, who leaned slightly aside and held 2 daggers, as if he was about to attack again. This girl has a problem. Baron Eggy's face became serious. Pokmus, are you okay? Don't worry, it's just a skin injury, Pokmus said. However, the girl's dagger easily sliced through my armor-colored domineering body. This is an amazing little girl. Hey, Mrs. Smoothie, can I teach this little girl a lesson? Pokmus put down his arm and looked at Jack with an extremely bad expression. Smoothie frowned. A little girl has the ability to hurt you. She is definitely not an ordinary person. On this island, a little girl with such ability may be Ziyun's partner, so you better not. Let's do it. With that said, Smoothie walked up to Jack, who was holding a dagger. Little girl, can you tell me, what is the name of your adult? Is my mother? Jack tilted his head. Mom is mother. That, don't get in my way, I want to play with the lion head. Do you call this a game? Smoothie looked at Pork Moose's wound. Such a dangerous behavior is not a joke. Little girl, please put away your dagger, my sister doesn't want to fight with you. Smoothie's face was serious. If such a thing happened elsewhere, even if Jack was a little girl, Smoothie would have already used his ability to squeeze the fruit, and squeezed all the moisture out of Jack's body. However, because the Chambord Islands are now ruled by Ziyun, Smoothie doesn't want to cause trouble here, so he can tolerate Jack's behavior. But in her heart, once she knew that Jack had nothing to do with Ziyun, she would do it. Immediately, hearing Smoothie's words, Jack didn't retract the dagger, but pointed the dagger at Smoothie. Since you want to stop me, then I will disintegrate you, Jack said. Well, seeing Jack aiming the blade at himself, Smoothie became slightly on guard. But when she was about to continue persuading, she found that Jack's figure had been quickly wrapped in the sudden haze and disappeared from her eyes. Page 358. Soon, not only Jack, but Smoothie found that Baron Eggy and Pork Moose beside her had disappeared before her eyes. She can't even see the descriptions around her anymore. The only thing left in front of her eyes is the smog with very low visibility. Smoothie immediately using knowledge-colored domineering. But even so, she can only vaguely catch the figures of Baron Eggy and Pokmus. But Jack's figure has completely disappeared from his perception. Not only that, Smoothie also felt that the smog around him was constantly eroding his body, and his agility was constantly being affected. Baron Eggy, Pokmus, are you two all right? At this moment, Smoothie no longer dared to underestimate Jack. Even though she is a little girl, she is able to make herself unaware of her arrogance and arrogance. Such an ability is enough for Smoothie to value. Master Smoothie, I'm fine. It's just that I can't see anything now, Pokmus yelled. He is so domineering. He can't see anything now. Even if he heard Smoothie's voice, he couldn't tell where it came from. And his sense of smell, which he was proud of, also lost its effect in the smog produced by Jack's treasure, Dark Fog City. Master Smoothie, please try not to fight this little girl. Baron Eggy, who also had trouble distinguishing directions, said, with such abilities, on this island, it is very likely that he is a new member of the Drake Pirates. Just subdue her. Hearing Baron Eggy's words, Smoothie, who had just pulled out the long knife on his back, was stunned. Then he changed the direction of the knife in his hand, and replaced it with the back of the knife, facing down. Okay, Jack, come here, your fog is about to spread to ordinary people. Just when Smoothie was about to act, Ziyun's voice came in. Ziyun is very aware of the ability of this smog. Ordinary people can't survive in the smog. They will die within a few rounds. Hearing Ziyun's words, Jack immediately cancelled his treasure. The smog began to dissipate at a speed visible to the naked eye, and soon, the three of Smoothie regained their sight. And the surrounding residents also breathed a sigh of relief after seeing the strange smog disappear. Seeing that Ziyun, the ruler of this island, was also here, he calmed down and went to do his own thing. Mum. After the smog dissipated, Jack quickly jumped towards Ziyun's direction, and the three of Smoothie saw a black figure passing by in front of their eyes. Seeing Jack transferred over, Ziyan smiled and stretched out his hands, hugging her into his arms. "It's black-haired Admiral, Ziyan." Seeing Ziyan appear, Smoothie said in a little surprise. At the same time, after seeing how intimate Ziyan was with the white-haired little girl, Smoothie was also extremely thankful that he hadn't had a big conflict with the little girl before. "Wait, there's a problem." Smoothie frowned suddenly. Looking at Jack's back, Smoothie suddenly found that she couldn't recall Jack's face at all. Obviously she had talked to Jack before. Not only that, Smoothie found that the memory of the haze just now had problems, and now she can't even recall the ability of the haze. But she vaguely felt that it was not an ordinary smog. "Baron Eggy, Pocmus, do you still remember that little girl's face, or her name?" Smoothie said to the two behind him. Master Smoothie also found out. Baron Denton withdrew his axe. "I don't remember any information about that little girl now. I've never heard of such an ability." Pocmus also nodded. After being intimate with Jack for a while, looking at Jack, he slowly turned his gaze to the three of Smoothie. Boom. On the day when Ziyan looked at Smoothie and the three of them, a huge amount of pressure suddenly appeared on the person. Eggy, Baron and Pocmus even lay on the ground directly, cold sweat constantly pouring out of their bodies. Smoothie didn't immediately though. Lying on the ground, "I can only stick the sword on the ground, trying to keep my body from falling down." Page 359. "Hey, interesting." Seeing Smoothie staring at him firmly, Ziyan slowly increased the spiritual pressure on their three of them. In an instant, Baron Pocmus, who was lying on the ground, was directly crushed by Ziyan's spiritual pressure. Going into the ground, the whole person can't even move a finger. Smoothie also couldn't maintain the standing posture, and she knelt on the ground with one knee while sticking her sword. A lot of sweat began to emerge from her body, and after a while, her whole body was wet. "Well, if you do this, it will be convenient for us to talk." Ziyan walked up to Smoothie, who was already much taller than himself even in his current state. "You are really tall. You don't have the blood of giants, do you?" "The three generals of their pirates?" "One of the stars." Charlotte. Smoothie. "I don't know. You members of the pirates came to my place. What do you want to do?" "Hello, black-haired Admiral, Ziyan. We are not malicious. We are just here to send you an invitation letter for your mother's tea party on behalf of your mother." After Ziyan walked in, Smoothie felt more pressure on himself, so he had to speak to Ziyan with difficulty. "Oh, Charlotte Lingling tea party. I heard that there are many cakes there, and many chefs are very good at making desserts," Ziyan said. Hearing Ziyan, Jack raised his head, with stars twinkling faintly in his eyes. "Dessert cake? Why, does Jack want to eat?" Ziyan smiled and looked at Jack. Jack nodded quickly. "Since Jack wants to go, let's go." Ziyan looked up at Smoothie. "Thank you for the invitation. Go back and tell Charlotte Lingling I will be there on time." After Ziyan finished speaking, he lifted the spiritual pressure covering the three of them. The heavy pressure on his body suddenly dissipated, and as soon as Smoothie relaxed, his whole body fell forward involuntarily. However, when Smoothie was about to touch the ground, Ziyan stretched out his palm to support her. It seems that the deterrence just now is a bit too much for you," Ziyan said with a smile. Seeing Ziyan, who was close at hand, Smoothie quickly raised his strength, stood up, stepped back slightly, and moved away from Ziyan. She only felt the terrifying aura on Ziyan just now from her own mother, Charlotte Lingling. With such a person, Smoothie has no idea of resistance. For a monster like Ziyan, Smoothie only hopes to stay away from him. After slightly calming down his heartbeat, Smoothie took out invitation letters from his chest and handed them to Ziyan. "This is an invitation letter for my mother's tea party. The time is set in 1 month. Please come to our tea party when the time comes. We will also prepare delicious food for this little girl named Jack." With that said, Smoothie took a special look at Jack. Even though she was a little girl, the ability Jack showed just now made Smoothie a little afraid. Although I don't understand why Jack called Ziyan's mother, she also regarded it as Jack's mouth addiction. Ziyan, who received the invitation letter, looked up at Smoothie's chest, and couldn't help but sigh. Why many women like to take things out of their chests. "Okay, now that I have received the invitation letter, you can leave too. I'm going to take Jack to the playground, so I won't entertain you." Ziyan hugged Jack and passed Smoothie and the three of them. "Of course, if you want to stay here longer, that's fine, but please don't make trouble." Speaking of this, Ziyan also released some of his spiritual pressure to the three of them in a deterrent manner. "No, we won't make trouble here again," Smoothie said quickly. Ziyan smiled, and quickly left the place with Jack. "Phew, I'm finally gone. I feel like I'm about to die." Pocmus wiped the sweat off his face, and looked at Ziyan's back with apprehension. "Black-haired Admiral's strength is really not simple. This level of domineering, even I feel palpitations," Smoothie said. Baron Eggy nodded. "For a character of this level, I don't even have the qualifications to stand on his ground." "Mrs. Smoothie, since the invitation letter has been handed over to Ziyan, let's hurry up and tell Mom about it." "Well, I'll get in touch right away. Smoothie nodded, took out the phone bug and called Charlotte Lingerling, who was far away on Cake Island. Page 360. Soon, Charlotte Lingerling's voice rang from the other side of the phone bug. Mom, I'm Smoothie, and I've already given the invitation letter to Ziyun. And he also promised to come to my mother's tea party in a month's time. Smoothie said. Ha ha ha, well done, Smoothie, Mother is very satisfied. How about it? When you actually see Ziyun, what kind of person do you think he is? Charlotte Lingerling said. Very strong, Mum. Smoothie said seriously, in front of him. I feel that if he wants to, I may be killed by him at any time. Ha ha, sure enough, how can it be a weak person who leads so many strong people? Those guys in the Navy are always going to make some false claims. Ha ha. Charlotte Lingerling couldn't help laughing out loud when she thought of the information that Ziyun was not strong that had been circulated from the Navy. It is precisely because of this that the idiots of the Navy and the world government will lose so badly. Smoochie, you should know that inviting Ziyun to the tea party has another purpose. A marriage, Mother. Smoothie replied. The strength of the Drake pirates is very strong. You have also experienced Ziyun's ability at close range. I think you should know how heavy your mission is. Charlotte Lingerling said. Next, you don't need to go back to Cake Island, but stay in Chambord Islands to build a good relationship with Ziyun. If you can't finish it, you should know what kind of punishment you will receive. Yes, Mother, I will definitely complete the task. Thinking of how her mother punished her brothers and sisters before, Smoothie said in a cold sweat. Very well, I have already arranged for other people to take over the area you are in charge of. During this time, you should take care of your relationship with Ziyun. As for Baron Eggy and the others, let them come back first. There are other things that need to be dealt with by the two of them. After speaking, Charlotte Lingerling took the initiative to hang up the phone. Smoothie sighed, although she really wanted to return to Cake Island now, but she had to follow Charlotte Lingerling's mission. Baron Eggy, Bokmas, you two should go back first. Smoothie turned his head to look at Baron Eggy and the two. It looks like I'll be here for a while. Baron Eggy nodded, and gave a standard gentleman salute to Smoothie. Then I wish Mr. Smoothie complete the task as soon as possible. Thanks. Smoothie nodded. Afterwards, Baron Eggy and Bokmas walked towards the direction they came from. Then, let's take a good look around this place first, and find out more about the Drake pirates and Ziyun. After seeing Baron Eggy walking away, Smoothie also started to act. Perhaps, we can start with the little girl next to Ziyun. Thinking of Ziyun's doting on Jack and Jack's interest in sweets, Smoothie felt that he had found a way to get close to Ziyun. When Smoothie was inquiring about Ziyun on the Chambord, Ziyun had already brought Jack out of the playground. After playing to his heart's content, Jack had already fallen asleep in Ziyun's arms. It seems that you like children very much. Behind Ziyun, Camilla's voice sounded. It's cute, isn't it? Ziyun turned his head and let Camilla look at Jack, who was sleeping soundly in his arms. Even if she looks cute, she can't deny the darkness in her heart. Camilla's golden eyes stared closely at Jack. Don't forget, Master, I am a vampire, the incarnation of corruption, and I can clearly perceive the darkness in this child's heart. Even so, Jack is cute. Ziyun laughed. Besides, people can be changed. Is that so? Then follow your master. He smiled. I won't bother you for now. I will continue to play on this island. There are so many beautiful young girls on this island. I really can't wait. Page 361. Hey, don't do it. Ordinary people, Camilla. Ziyun was taken aback, and quickly reminded her, I don't want people here to think that I and those Tanlong people are the same. Okay. Don't worry, Master, I was just joking. Camilla raised her mouth slightly. When you left the palace, your other summoners have already told me your rules. Now that I have signed a contract with you, I will naturally follow your wishes. But, as she spoke, Camilla moved closer to Ziyun. As a price for not being able to drink other people's blood, Master, you need to provide me with a little more of your blood. Hey, well, as long as you don't suck up the blood in my body, it's up to you. Ziyun shook his head and said, That's really thankful, Master. Camilla said happily. Then, I won't bother you for now. With that said, Camilla planned to leave here. Wait. Because of Elizabeth's interruption just now, I haven't strengthened you yet. Ziyun stopped Camilla, who was about to leave, and quickly communicated with the system in his heart to strengthen Camilla. This feeling has become stronger. This power, has finally arrived here. Camilla's eyes suddenly turned green, and she looked at Ziyun with an excited expression. This is really a wonderful experience, such a beauty. I probably didn't reach this level in my lifetime. Thank you so much, my master. This is what I should do. Your strength has increased, and I can feel more at ease. Ziyun hugged Jack and turned around. Then, let's talk later when we have time. I'll take Jack back first. After seeing Camilla nodding again, Ziyun took Jack up and flew towards the palace. After arriving at the palace, Ziyun put Jack on the bed in her room. Afterwards, Ziyun returned to his room and continued to summon new partners. After thinking for a while, Ziyun suddenly found that there seemed to be no one who was very good at painting on board, so he made a decision. System, help me summon my painter professional partner to come over. Ziyun said to the system in his heart. Ding. Deduct 2 devil fruits and start summoning. And with the end of the summoning, a girl who thought she was wearing a kimono, holding a huge writing brush, and a black octopus floating beside her appeared in front of Ziyun. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill and treasure 36 views of Mount Fuji. Hello, summoner, I'm Katsushika Hokusai, a little painter. The energetic girl came to Ziyun and said, well, your excellency the summoner is pretty good. You have the talent to be the person in my paintings. Well, come and let me paint as much as I want. I'm very happy to be the person in Katsushika Hokusai's painting, but no matter how you look at it, you are not that Katsushika Hokusai, Ziyun said with a smile. Regarding the girl in front of her and the octopus beside her, Ziyun knew their details. The real Katsushika Hokusai is a black octopus, and the girl in front of him is just Katsushika Hokusai's third daughter, Katsushika Oi. Not like Katsushika Yingwei turned around. I am indeed Katsushika Hokusai. It's really embarrassing to appear in front of you with such a cute appearance. There are certain reasons for this. Ziyun smiled, stood up from his seat, held the hand of the octopus beside Katsushika with both hands, and swung it up and down. It's our first time to meet you, Mr. Katsushika Hokusai. Although I'm just a person who doesn't know much about painting, I respect you very much, Mister. I am very happy to meet you. Shika Yingwei stared at Ziyun's behavior in a daze. After being dazed for 2 or 3 seconds, he suddenly let out a sound of surprise. Hey, why do you know, master? It's obviously the first time we met. Katsushika Yingwei shot his head with both hands, and looked at Ziyun with wide eyes. Hee. Do you want to know? Sorry, I won't tell you, Ziyun said with a smile. Page 362. Hey, don't tell me, master. Katsushika Yingwei held Ziyun's arm and said, who told you that you were going to lie to me just now, so I won't tell you this secret. Ha. Ziyun looked at Bezhai Yingwei amusedly. Besides, you can just call my name Ziyun. I'll call you Arong too. What a wicked master. But forget it. Arong shook his head. However, since you have summoned us, Ziyun, you must be willing to take care of me and Daddy's meal. Isn't it natural? I won't let my partner go hungry, Ziyun said. Arong, and the rent will be paid for us. Ziyun, we have our own residence and don't need to pay rent. Arong, then, do you have any wine? Ziyun didn't speak, silently took out the treasured wine and 2 Japanese wine bowls from Babylon's treasury, and poured some into the 2 wine bowls respectively. Then he handed 2 bowls of wine to Arong and Katsushika Hokusai. Wow, this wine is super delicious. After taking a sip of the fine wine that Ziyun handed over, Arong's eyes widened, and then he turned his head to look at the octopus transformed into Katsushika Hokusai. Daddy, you think so too? The octopus danced its tentacles happily, gulping down the wine in the bowl. It's great, Dad, we have met a super good employer. Not only can you give us free food and accommodation, but you can even give us such delicious wine. Arong, who blushed slightly after drinking the wine, took Ziyun's hand. Master, don't worry, Daddy and I will work hard, so please invite us to drink this kind of wine in the future. By the way, what painting do you want to see? As long as you want, no matter what style of painting, I'm willing to paint for you, be it traditional or modern. Arong took a step back slightly, and made a gesture of taking pictures with both hands, giving Ziyun a lot of attention. The master is a handsome young man. If that's the case, he must be very interested in that aspect of the painting. Arong touched Ziyun's waist with his elbow. Master, do you want me to draw some of these things for you? To tell you the truth, I have studied this kind of painting before, and I am still very good at it. Ziyun blushed. So, what aspect do you mean? Master, it's true, everyone is an adult, why pretend not to understand? Arong put one hand on Ziyun's shoulder, shook his head, and pretended to be someone who came here. A big man like the master usually hides some books that are not good for others to read under the bed. That's what I mean. So, you have to help me talk about the Pure Palace map, Ziyun said. It's a shame that a girl like you can say that. Ziyun silently poured some more wine into Arong's wine bowl. Please draw some more pictures for me. Please. It's delicious. Arong took a sip of the wine. Don't worry, I will definitely fulfill your commission, master. Well, actually, I also like manga very much. I wonder if Arong can help me draw some manga too. Of course, manga or something, it's easy, Arong said confidently. Then if you combine Pure Palaces, pictures and manga, I don't know if it's possible. No problem, these are trivial matters. Toast to the boss. Ziyun hastily filled up the wine for Arong. At this time, Katsushika Hokusai finished drinking the wine in his bowl, and then quickly came to Ziyun, and used his tentacle to sweep away the wine bottle in Ziyun's hand. Daddy, you can't eat alone. Seeing his father's behavior, Arong suddenly became excited, and after drinking the wine in their bowl, he quickly chased Katsushika Hokusai. Page 363. Seeing the fight between the 2 father and daughter, Ziyun, It didn't take long for the wine that Ziyun brought out to be drunk under the scramble between Arong and his daughter. At the same time, Ziyun also communicated with Wing and Katsushika Hokusai in his heart for rape. The sudden increase in strength on the two of them also temporarily stopped their fights. And when the strengthened light dissipated, Wing's tightly wrapped Oiran costume became slightly more exposed. And Ziyun's eyes couldn't help but stare at Arong's face, which was slightly exposed in the air. On the chest hall, Daddy, we seem to have become stronger. Feeling the strength in his body, Arong said, unofficial Oiran attire suits me well. What are you talking about, Daddy? It would make me shy. What? Even the master's eyes are attracted. Hearing Katsushika Hokusai's words, Arong quickly turned his head to look at Ziyun. After seeing Ziyun's fiery eyes, he quickly turned around and hugged his chest tightly with both hands. Master, what are you doing? Don't look at me like that. I was also attracted by you, Arong, Ziyun said with a smile. Also, I think Hokusai Katsushika is right. Wing looks really good in such an outfit. Although I can't understand what he said. Really, Master loves to make fun of me just like Daddy, Arong complained. What, Dad, what are you talking about? Arong suddenly said sharply. What's the matter? Did your father say something? Ziyun asked suspiciously. Arong, I won't tell you. Seeing that Arong didn't help him translate, Katsushika Hokusai took out a brush and started writing in the air. How about it, Master? My daughter looks good. Do you want me to hand over my daughter to you? Just give me another bottle of wine just now, as the dowry gift. Looking at the words written by Katsushika Hokusai, Ziyun couldn't help staring at him with wide eyes. After being silent for a while, Ziyun decisively took out 10 bottles of fine wine from their treasure house of Babylon and put them on the table. Come on, father-in-law. A small dowry is not a respect, please take it away. Seeing the fine wine that Ziyun brought out, Katsushika Hokusai was so happy that all his tentacles danced. At the same time, he swiped the brush in his hand and wrote a few more words on the wall. From today, Master, my daughter will be handed over to you, and I will not bother you for now. After finishing writing, Katsushika Hokusai stretched out his hand, picked up all the wine on their table, quickly opened the door and rushed out. After Katsushika Hokusai rushed out, Ziyun turned to look at Arong, who was also stunned. Arong, having such a father is really hard work for you. Ziyun walked up to Arong and clapped her shoulder. That is to say, there is no such father. Although the master is indeed a very nice man, it is too inappropriate to sell his daughter with a few bottles of wine. Don't you think so, Master? Arong complained. No, I think my father-in-law did the right thing. Ziyun stretched out his thumb. Such excellent parents. I hope to give me another dozen. Master, it's true, I'm ignoring you. After finishing speaking, Arong walked out of the room a little shyly. Well, Arong, where are you going? Your father has betrothed you to me. Should we talk about marriage? After all, I have given you the dowry gift, Ziyun said with a teasing smile behind Arong. Hearing Ziyun's words, Arong's face suddenly turned red, and he quickly ran out of Ziyun's sight. Page 364. Next, it's time to start the main event summoning. After Arong walked away, Ziyun sat down on the chair again, preparing for the next call. By the way, the first 2 calls for musicians were proposed by Dior. That's why I summoned Nero and Elizabeth. If I summon musicians directly, will I summon real musicians? Although Ziyun is very happy to have Elizabeth and Nero as his partners, and he likes them very much, but when he is not dragged by them to listen to their new song, Ziyun still can't help but have a headache. Now Ziyun really hopes that there will be a master musician who can bring real music to their companions on board, and teach Nero and Elizabeth to sing. Although I have been destroyed many times by the music of Nero and Elizabeth, Ziyun still thinks that their musical talent can be salvaged. After all, the voices of both of them are so beautiful. Brother system, please give me a real musician, Ziyun shouted loudly in his heart. Ding. To listen to the host's wishes, start summoning musicians for the host. As the mechanical sound of the system ended, the light of the summoning array lit up in front of Ziyun. Out of expectation for the musicians, Ziyun, who was originally sitting, stood up directly. I don't know if it's an illusion, but at the beginning, the summoning array shone with golden light. Ziyun rubbed his eyes and said, as the light of the summoning array gradually faded, Ziyun's eyes also slowly opened wide. Hello, I am Yu, the descendant. Since I was summoned by you, please let me stay by your side. For a long time, as the summoning circle dissipated, a petite and lovely woman appeared in front of Ziyun, wearing a close-fitting cheongsam, showing her snow-white legs, with a pipa and clarinet floating behind her. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill, treasure, neon clothes and feather clothes, matching wings. Ziyun, who recognized this woman, couldn't help but heaved a sigh of relief. After all, this in front of him is undoubtedly a great musician. Ziyun came to this lovely girl excitedly, and took her right hand with both hands. I'm so glad to be able to summon you, Miss Yang Yuan. You are just like the legends say, a woman who is overwhelmed by the country. Hey, this, really, I am indeed Yang Yuan. Please give me more advice. That. Don't say poor the country. What? Yang Yuan, whose real identity was recognized, said shyly. Really, obviously I didn't say my real name. How did the master know that? Hearing Yang Yuan's words, Ziyan just smiled mysteriously. Well, it shouldn't matter if I call you Yu. Of course you can. Rather, I like it very much. Yang Yuan said happily. Yu, actually, I summoned you because I have a very important task for you. Ziyan said seriously. Yeah, master, tell me. I will finish it well. After listening, Yu also became serious. Actually, I summoned you in the same way as a musician, and I summoned 2 musicians before you. Ziyan said. Really? Yu happily said, it's great, master. Where are they now? I seem to be playing a song with them. Now, Ziyan put both hands on Yu's shoulders. The problem lies in this. Although both of them have very nice voices, as long as they sing, there will be problems. The tone says it's a song, rather it's a demonic whisper that can't be described in words. So, I hope you can help me teach them well, at least, so that they don't sing that kind of torturing songs. Speaking of this, thinking of the scene of listening to Nero and Elizabeth's songs in the past, Yan's expression instantly collapsed. Yes, is that an exaggeration? Yu said with a little confidence. But, I'm just a girl who is good at playing, singing and dancing, and likes hot springs. I haven't taught others to sing. No, Yu, you must not underestimate yourself. Please, this is the request of my life. There was a golden light in Ziyan's eyes, and he stared straight at Yu. Page 365. Okay, Yu just do it. Master, don't look at me with such expectant gaze. Under Ziyan's sincere eyes, Yu was defeated and agreed to Ziyan's commission. Great, as a thank you, let me give you these fruits. Ziyan took out some fruits that looked like lychees but were more than 3 times bigger than lychees and handed them to Yu. There are no lychees in this world, but there are things similar to lychees, except that this fruit is bigger than a lychee. It is almost the same as a lychee in other respects. As he spoke, Ziyan peeled off the skin of the fruit, revealing the snow-white flesh, and handed it to Yu. Ah, what a juicy fruit. Yu happily remembered the fruit that Ziyan handed over, and took a bite of it with her small mouth. It's delicious, thank you, master. Don't worry, I will definitely complete the task. That was a real help. Ziyan picked up Yu and turned around. Then let's strengthen you first. Ziyan smiled and put down Yu. Strengthen. Yu tilted her head cutely. Ziyan smiled faintly, and said to the system to strengthen it silently. Soon, a blue-white light appeared on Yu's body, and soon, the light turned into a strange blue flame and surrounded Yu's side, and Yu's appearance also changed a lot. I can feel, master, your strong gaze. This gaze seems to make my body gradually become hotter. Then, please enjoy it to your heart's content. As she spoke, the jade, which was enveloped in blue flames and showed a strange beauty, turned in a circle in front of Ziyan, and the blue and black cheongsam on her body floated in front of Ziyan as she turned, and Ziyan did the same. Reluctantly, he stretched out his hand to grab the cheongsam in front of him. Master, it's true. Grabbing a lady's clothes without authorization is not a polite behavior. The corners of Yu's mouth curled up, and her eyes were half closed. This kind of behavior is not what a gentleman should do. The master has been staring at me. If you look at me too obsessively, it will be branded on you in those cute eyes. Master, if you can, please do so. Hearing Yu's words, Ziyan said not to be outdone. Since this is the case, then Yang Yuan, the descendant, will further serve you. Lord Master, with all my heart, please do so in the future. That. Yu, your current appearance as a mature queen has changed a lot from just now. Ziyan interrupted Yu. Here, you can come at your own pace. Really? Yu looked down at her strange body. But I look like this, like before, isn't it too strange? Obviously, I am so weird right now. It's better to say that you also have a different kind of beauty like this. Ziyan said. That's great, master, you don't care, so I'll talk to you in the same tone as before. Saying that, the strange flames on Yu's body began to disappear slowly, and her clothes began to change back to the previous style. It's really easier to be casual. Everyone asked me to be more dignified before, but that was too tiring. Ziyan, you can change back to your previous form. Yu. Of course. Yu stood on the ground with one foot, and placed one hand like a pair of scissors in front of her eyes. As long as you suppress your strength, you can do this kind of thing. It's quite convenient. Ziyan nodded, and just about to continue to say something, Arong's voice came from outside the door. Master, tell me about your father. He ran around with the wine you gave him, and he didn't want to give it to me. He also said, if I don't marry you, I don't want to drink those wines. How can there be such a father who sells his daughter just because of a little wine? Arong pushed open the door of Ziyan's room while speaking. Arong, wow, who is this big beauty? She is really beautiful. Arong, who suddenly saw Yuayu, was taken aback for a moment, then took out his paintbrush and rushed to Yuayu. Page 366. Please let me paint you. Don't worry, I will show your beauty perfectly. Let me introduce, the beautiful woman in front of you is a beautiful woman from all over the world, Yang Yuan. Ziyan said with a smile. Yuayu, the woman in front of you is the third daughter of the famous married woman Katsushika Hokusai. Her drawing skills are also very good. Speaking of which, your spiritual foundations are all descendants, so you can be close friends. Since it's Master Yang Yuan. Arong's eyes glowed golden. Come on, I can't wait. After finishing speaking, Arong took a piece of drawing paper on the table, and pulled Yang Yuan to sit opposite him. Excited to start drawing. Arong's speed was very fast, and it didn't take long for a vivid self-portrait of Yang Yuan to be printed in Ziyan's eyes. It's really good. Ziyan picked up the painting and showed it to Yuayu. Yuayu, you should also feel very good. Well, it's really good, comparable to many court painters, Yuayu said with a smile. I have collected this painting. Ziyan quickly declared his sovereignty over the painting. Since it is the master, there is no other way. Anyway, if there is a chance to draw, I will give you this one. Arong stood up, walked in front of Yuayu, and put his hands on her shoulders. However, this is not enough to observe your beauty more fully. So, excuse me. After finishing speaking, Arong put his hand on Yuayu's shoulder, grabbed her skirt and pulled it down fiercely, revealing Yuayu's skin like the first snow. Ah! What are you doing? Yuayu hurriedly wrapped her arms around her chest, blushed and glanced at Ziyan. When she saw Ziyan's fiery gaze, her face turned bright red. Yes, that's the expression. It's too much, Arong said excitedly. Please keep it like this, I will record it soon. With that said, Arong started to work quickly again. Ziyan on the side also secretly gave a thumbs up. But, such a thing, Yuayu said in a low voice. Don't worry, Yuayu, I don't let Arong pass on this painting indiscriminately, I guarantee it with my personality. And, it's for art, too. While Ziyan was speaking, his eyes never left Yuayu's body. For such a painting, Ziyan made up his mind, and must discuss it with Arong in the future. Regarding Yuayu's self-portrait, it must not be seen by other men, even her father Katsushika Hokusai. In the next period of time, Arong asked Yuayu to change various poses for her to paint, and Ziyan also provided Yuayu with a large number of different kinds of clothing during the period. Although a little shy, seeing that Ziyan was also very interested in her self-portrait, Yuayu followed Arong's idea, and after experiencing the timidity at the beginning, Yuayu gradually became bolder later. Although she will still be very shy in front of Ziyan, but she will not be afraid of being seen by Ziyan anymore. It's really satisfying. After drawing more than 10 self-portraits of Yuayu, Arong finally stood up contentedly. Today is really my lucky day, not only tied with a long-term meal ticket, but also found such a beautiful no one to be a model. Life is really full of colors. Now that the paintings are finished, I'll put them away first. Ziyan silently put Yuayu's portraits of various styles into a treasure box and locked it. Hey, master, I understand you. Page 367. Arong teased and said, you must want to hide these paintings under the bed, and then secretly take them out to use in the dead of night. Hey, do you mean that? Yuayu, who had changed back to her Cheongsam, said in surprise with a blushing face. Anyway, the master is also a boy, so it's understandable to be angry. Never mind. Arong patted Yuayu's shoulder and said, by the way, your father betrothed you to me, didn't you? Ziyan held Arong's shoulders and looked at her with a smile. With you here, I shouldn't need these words. It's too fast, master. Saying that, Arong blushed and ran out of Ziyan's room. Master and this Miss Arong, the relationship is really good. Yuayu walked to Ziyan's side and said, looking at Yuayu beside him, Ziyan couldn't help but reach out and put his hand on her head, gently stroking her beautiful hair. It's not just Arong, I would like to have a good relationship with any of my companions. Of course, including you. In my heart, you came to this different world, accompany me, help me, you are my family. Family? Yuayu showed a sweet smile, and gently hugged Ziyan. It's great, if you can have a family like the master, Yuayu will definitely be able to get happiness. Of course, I will definitely make Yuayu happy. Ziyan patted Yuayu's back. After hugging for a long time, Ziyan let go of Yuayu. At this moment, her face had already turned red. Yuayu, are you interested in welcoming new family members? Ziyan smiled and said to Yuayu. Ziyan wanted Yuayu to welcome the last companion's call. A new family member, is the master calling for new partners? Yuayu showed an interested expression. Okay, I also want to see what kind of people you will summon. Master, maybe it's someone as lovely and gentle as Yuayu. Ziyan laughed. Really, master? Don't always praise me, I will be shy. Yuayu blushed and lowered her head. Ziyan smiled, pulled Yuayu behind him, and began to let the system consume 2 devil fruits to summon a spear rank partner. And the spearmen were called over because Skaha's training for Ziyan was too harsh recently. Therefore, Ziyun intends to directly obtain his spear skills by summoning spearmen, so as to escape Scarha's training for him. During this time, Scarha would take Ziyun to train spear skills from time to time, and would also bring Li Shuwen to train him. Thanks to Scarha and Li Shuwen's training, Ziyun's spear skills can be said to have risen in a straight line. In Scathach's words, even if compared to her disciple Kuchulain, there is not much difference. In particular, Ziyun himself is proficient in Bbook. After Li Shuwen joined the training, Ziyun's 8th level spear skills improved very quickly. Now Ziyun's spear skills have not only the sharpness of Scarha's spear skills, but also their skills of Li Shuwen's spear skills. Even if he really confronted Kuchulain, Ziyun would not necessarily lose in terms of spear skills. Although this level has been reached, Scarha is obviously still not satisfied. On the contrary, he strengthened the training of Ziyun, which made Ziyun complain constantly. And Scatha often used herself as a prize to reward Ziyun, which made it difficult for Ziyun to refuse her training. Looking at the summoning formation in front of him, Ziyun clasped his hands together and said, "I hope a master of spear skills will come and let me learn super powerful spear skills directly." Yu Ayu, who heard Ziyun's words at the side, looked at Ziyun suspiciously, but was then drawn back by the summoning array. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill and treasure, until death separates there. 2. The effect of this treasure is to be used on people with love. How can I use it? Ziyun shook his head and sighed. However, since it is such a treasure, the new partner in their summoning formation must be that one. Just as Ziyun finished thinking, the light of the summoning array suddenly dissipated, and a long spear exuding hot blue flames stabbed at Ziyun. Ziyun, who was still thinking of saying hello, hastily took out the death-piercing spear that Scarha had given him, blocking the charming woman in front of him. Page 368. Hello, Master, I am the spearman, Hilda. After Brunhilde withdrew his spear, he threw it at Ziyun again. Sorry, Master, I didn't mean it, it's just that my body moved. Brunhilde looked at Ziyun, who took a step back to avoid his attack, and said, Hey, what are you doing? Yu Ayu picked up the peeper behind her, plucked the strings lightly, and several blue flames surrounded her. Are you an enemy? You actually attacked my master? I'm sorry, it's because the master gave me too close feelings, so I couldn't help but do it. Brunhilde said quietly, raising the gun again, planning to attack Ziyun. It won't let you succeed. Around Yu Ayu, the scorching flames trembled slightly, as if they would rush out to attack Brunhilde at any moment. And many more. Ziyun stopped in front of Yu Ayu. Just leave it to me, Yu Ayu, you don't have to do it. Yu Ayu, but, don't worry, I'll be fine. Ziyun turned his head and smiled at Yu Ayu behind him. I'm very strong. What a gentle master. I don't know if he will be so gentle to me. Brunhilde sighed. Oh, no, I can't bear it. After finishing speaking, Brunhilde accelerated to Ziyun's face, placed the spear behind him, and drew a cold dart, aiming at Ziyun's head from bottom to top. Ziyun hastily lowered the death-flying spear in his hand, blocking Brunhilde's high-speed blow. Boom! Although Ziyun blocked Brunhilde's attack in time, he was still smashed to the roof by his huge force. Ziyun turned his body over, and his feet suddenly stepped on a huge hole on the roof. Jill will be mad. Ziyun, who was stuck on the roof, looked at the cracks around him, shook his head and said, Hateful. Yu Ayu stepped aside, wanting to help Ziyun, but thinking of Ziyun's confession, she had no choice but to hold back. Boom! The door of Ziyun's room was suddenly opened, and Camilla and Jack, who were resting in the castle, appeared outside the door. What happened? Camilla walked into the room first, and immediately after seeing Brunhilde and Ziyun holding weapons, point the scepter in your hand at Brunhilde, and her Iron Maiden appears behind her. Jack followed closely behind, took out his 2 daggers, and faced Brunhilde, ready to attack her at any time. Hold on, Camilla, Jack. She is our new partner, but now she is controlled by the curse she carries. Ziyun hurriedly called Arong and Camilla to stop. For the strengthened Jack and Camilla, Ziyun doesn't think the current Brunhilde is their opponent. If Camilla and Jack use their noble phantasm directly on Brunhilde, it will be bad. After all, whether it is Camilla or Jack, their treasures are extremely threatening to women. Ziyun didn't want the companion he summoned to be hurt by other companions. Cursed. Camilla stopped her actions and stopped Jack by the way. You are willing to protect me who took action against the master without authorization. Their master is really a gentle person. Brunhilde put away the spear, and put his left hand on his heart. This feeling is becoming more and more real, and something is swelling in my heart. No, master can't be so gentle to me, otherwise, I will. Following Brunhilde's words, a fiery flame burned around him. After the flames converged on the tip of the gun, Brunhilde leapt vigorously and rushed to Ziyun on the roof. Boom! Page 369. Brunhilde's gun tip supported Ziyun's red gun with tremendous force. Although Ziyun blocked Brunhilde's attack, the roof behind him couldn't resist such force. As the roof shattered, Brunhilde continued to increase his strength. Ziyun, who was concentrating on defense, was directly driven by Brunhilde to fly upwards, and flew away from the range of Gilgamesh Palace, and came to the sky of Chambord Islands. Xian and Brunhilde, who suddenly appeared over the Chambord Islands, immediately attract the attention of those around you. While the ordinary residents marveled at the fluctuations caused by the battle with Xian and Brunhilde, they couldn't help being curious about Brunhilde's identity. You know, Xian and his group just defeated the coalition forces of the Navy and the world government. At this time, the residents were very surprised that they dared to trouble Xian and the others alone. And some capable people watched the battle with great interest. Among them, Rayleigh, who was drinking a bottle of rum, was like this. As for Xian's partner, after knowing that Brunhilde is also the heroic spirit Xian summoned, he followed Xian to deal with it. That is Xian. Smoothie, who was still on the island, naturally noticed the scene of the battle between Xian and Brunhilde. Seeing the fiery blue flames shining in the sky, and the crimson gun shadows, Smoothie, who saw Xian's attack in a real sense for the first time, was also very interested in this battle. Although I don't know why Xian's companions didn't come to support Xian, Smoothie didn't think too much about it. Instead, he thought about whether he could gain some of Xian's favor for her by supporting Xian. After all, Charlotte Lingerling gave her death orders, and Smoothie didn't want to disobey her mother. So Smoothie desperately wanted to seize the opportunity. In the air, Xian blocked Brunhilde's attack again, and the whole person kept flying backwards. At the same time, Xian was also thinking hard about how to lift the curse on Brunhilde. This is the first time for Xian to be troubled by the summoner's high affection for him. After all, Brunhilde is very easy to attack people with a high degree of affection. Landing on the ground, Xian looked at Brunhilde in the sky, surrounded by rising magic power, and shook his head involuntarily. With such magical power, it's not like I'm going to use the noble phantasm on me. Your Excellency Xian, do you need my help? At this moment, behind Xian, Smoothie's voice sounded. Just now, after seeing Xian landed, Smoothie rushed to Xian's location with all his might. When she saw Xian's troubled look, she immediately volunteered. You haven't left the Chambord Islands yet. Xian turned his head and looked at Smoothie quite unexpectedly. Back off, you can't help much. Your Excellency Xian, although my strength is not as strong as yours, it is still possible to provide some assistance to you, Smoothie said quickly. Xian shook his head. Stand by your side now, you may be seriously injured. You'd better step back. After speaking, Xian looked up at Brunhilde. The gun in the German hand is no longer what it used to be. Now, the spear in her hand has multiplied several times, with a dazzling light shining on it. The scorching flames on the tip of the gun seem to make the Chambord Islands have a second sun. Like it, hate it, like. Following Brunhilde's words, the magic power condensed on his gun became stronger, and the threat radiated from it also continued to grow. Smoothie, who didn't think it was so powerful at first, also felt a huge. Even the nearby Ali's eyes gradually became sharper. Although Brunhilde has not yet been strengthened by Xian, but because of the particularity of his noble phantasm, when facing the person he likes, his power will become extraordinarily powerful. Therefore, the destructive power possessed by the current Brunhilde is also extremely powerful. For Smoothie, who was standing beside Xian, if he was involved, even if he was rubbed, he would be seriously injured. If you are unlucky, you might die here. It's really troublesome. Page 370. Xian shook his head, and put away the red spear in his hand. Let's use this one. Following Xian's voice, several golden ripples appeared around him, and the chains of their skylocks began to protrude from it. For Brunhilde, who possesses divinity, the lock of the sky should be able to stop her actions. Xian thought in his heart. Sorry, my lord. I really can't suppress this emotion, so I'm sorry, I have to kill you. I'm sorry, until death separates you and me. Following Brunhilde's words, she grabbed her huge spear and fell down quickly with flames that could burn the entire Chambord Islands. Xian raised his hand, and the extremely condensed thought power blocked not far in front of him, and the skylock beside him was also ready to go. Boom! A huge sound appeared with the collision of the spear point and the telekinetic force, and spread to the entire Chambord Islands. Xian's telekinetic power defended Brunhilde's treasure very well. Although the periphery of the telekinetic shield was slightly broken, it didn't have much impact. However, even so, the flame attached to the tip of the spear did bypass the psychic shield and landed on the ground around Xian. The grass on the ground instantly became scorched black, and even the ground dried up, showing cracks, and after interrupting Brunhilde's thrust, Xian quickly let the skylock fly towards Brunhilde, who was in midair. Brunhilde's body is still in a state of rigidity due to the use of the noble phantasm just now. Therefore, facing the lock of the sky, she did not make any resistance, and was locked all over her body. Ah! What is this? Smoothie screamed loudly. Xian turned his head and found that Smoothie's whole body was covered by blue flames. Although she tried her best to extinguish the flames, and even used her devil fruit ability to twist her body to let the flames leave her, it was useless. Brunhilde's emotional flame seemed to never go out, and it continued to burn and grow bigger on Smoothie's body. "Didn't I say that, if you stand by my side, you may be seriously injured?" Ziyun shook his head and said, "Brunhilde's treasure is aimed at Ziyun, whom she has a good impression of, so its power will increase exponentially. With Smoothie's current strength, it is still difficult to compete with it." "Forget it. Since you didn't cause trouble for me when you came here, I will help you this time." Ziyun stretched out his hand, and the magic power directly covered Smoothie's skin, preventing the flame from contacting her. Scanning the scattered flames around, Ziyun shook his head slightly. Huge magic power began to pour into the surrounding flames, intending to directly impact the aftermath caused by Brunhilde's noble phantasm with one magic power. Soon, under the impact of Ziyun's magic power, the blue flame gradually disappeared. Turning his head to look at Brunhilde, who was pulled in front of him by the skylock, Ziyun also didn't know what to do. From just now, Ziyun has been trying to find a way to lift the curse on Brunhilde, and even wanted to use the treasure in Babylon's treasury to do so. However, until the end, Ziyun did not find a way. "Sorry, Master, I can't stay by your side like this." Brunhilde raised his head slightly, looked at Ziyun apologetically. "So, I'd better leave here." "I'm sorry, I was summoned by you, but I couldn't help you, but it caused you so much trouble." "That's not right, Brunhilde." Ziyun shook his head. "I don't have a habit of abandoning my partners." Ziyun loosened the control of Brunhilde by the skylock, and walked up to her and patted her on the shoulder. "I will definitely find a way to lift the curse on you. Here, there are many excellent companions. If we all think of a way together, we will definitely be able to." "Master, you are so gentle, it really bothers me." Brunhilde said that there was both joy and sadness in his face. "Forget it, let's strengthen Brunhilde first." Ziyun sighed. Immediately, he communicated with the system in his heart, allowing it to strengthen Brunhilde. Although Brunhilde's strength will further increase after strengthening, Ziyun is still quite confident in his own ability, plus there are other partners. Therefore, even after strengthening, Brunhilde still has to attack, and Ziyun can stop her without hurting her. Ding, the enhancement is complete. Heroic spirit. Brunhilde's physical fitness has been improved, his magic power has been improved, and the attributes of the noble phantasm, until death will separate the two, have been changed. Page 371. When Brunhilde uses his own treasure to swing at the enemy for the loved one, it can increase the power of the treasure. The deeper the affection for the one you love, the stronger the power of the noble phantasm will be. Hearing the mechanical voice of the system in his head, Ziyun was taken aback for a moment, and then immediately looking at Brunhilde, after realizing that she no longer had the urge to attack him, immediately take back the skylock. "Well, Brunhilde, how are you feeling now?" Although he knew that the system would not lie to him, Ziyun still wanted to confirm with Brunhilde that, "Master, I don't seem to want to kill you." Brunhilde moved his body, looked at Ziyun slightly strangely. "Obviously, I have no feelings for the Master, but now, I can stand in front of you so indifferently. The system has really helped me a lot." Ziyun smiled, said, "Anyway, it's more important than anything else to be able to get along with you normally. Brunch. It's a wonderful feeling, but, sure enough, it's exactly what I was hoping for." The corners of Brunhilde's mouth curled up, and tears glistened faintly in his slightly closed eyes. "Let's go, our companions are waiting for us. Let's go back to the palace first." Ziyun said with a smile, "You are the last partner to come this time, and we will hold a banquet for you." "Well, I will follow the master's arrangement," Brunhilde said. Hearing Brunhilde's return, Ziyun nodded with a smile, and then looked at Smoothie, who was lying on the ground beside him. "Are you unconscious?" "This is going to be difficult." Ziyun shook his head. After thinking for a while, Ziyun decided to put this guy in the palace temporarily, and let her leave when she woke up. After making the decision, Ziyun quickly wrapped Smoothie in telekinesis, and brought Brunhilde back to the palace. "My dear friend, everything is settled." Outside the gate of the palace, Gilgamesh in casual clothes leaned against the wall and said to Ziyun, "Well, yes, sorry for ruining the palace you just built." Ziyun said slightly apologetically that, "It's my fault, not the master's fault." Brunhilde spoke hastily. "If the palace is damaged, just rebuild it." Gilgamesh waved his hand. "The two of us, there is no need to worry about these things." "However, are you planning to leave this island?" "Guess it." Ziyun rubbed his head. "That's really what I planned, and I feel at ease with you here. In this way, I can concentrate on continuing to sail." "I still know a lot about you," Gilgamesh said with a smile. "Now that all the new friends have come, you will definitely continue sailing." "Let's go." Ymir and the others are already preparing the banquet. No matter what, whether it is to welcome new partners, or to practice for you, this banquet is indispensable. Ziyun nodded and followed Gilgamesh's footsteps. Because the preparation of the banquet still needs some time, after entering the palace, Ziyun first went back to his room, and seeing that the broken ceiling had been repaired, Ziyun couldn't help laughing. Happy to have a companion again. "This guy, let's put it here first." Looking at Smoothie, who was being held in his hands and whose clothes were torn to pieces by the flames, Ziyun casually threw her on the sofa. Although the sofa in Ziyun's room was very long, it seemed a bit small after the tall Smoothie lay on it. Just when Ziyun was about to leave, Smoothie slowly opened his eyes. Page 372. When he saw himself in an unfamiliar environment, Smoothie instantly became alert. One turned over, jumped off the sofa, and picked up the long knife that Ziyun had placed beside her. However, when he saw Ziyun, Smoothie, who recalled what happened just now, relaxed slightly. Although he didn't know the specific situation, Smoothie still guessed that it was Ziyun who saved him. After all, in the situation just now, only Ziyun who was beside her could help her. Good body, Ziyun said with a smile. Smoothie's clothes were already tattered from the flames of Brunhilde. At this moment, because of Smoothie's sudden violent movement, the lifespan of her clothes finally came to an end. They slipped off her body one after another, and Ziyun's eyes immediately showed her tall and beautiful posture. Ziyun had to admit that although Smoothie was much taller than ordinary people, he was more than 2 meters taller than himself. But such a Smoothie still has the same aesthetic feeling. Smoothie was taken aback when he heard Ziyun's words, and then he realized his situation. Immediately turning around, he showed his back in front of Ziyun's eyes. Even though he usually acts bold and unrestrained, when encountering such a sudden incident, Smoothie still showed the reaction of an ordinary girl. After turning around, Smoothie suddenly thought of Charlotte Lingerling's plan to marry herself and Ziyun, and let herself have a good relationship with Ziyun. After that, after a little hesitation, he turned around again, put his hands on his hips, and faced Ziyun head-on. Thank you so much just now, Your Excellency Ziyun. Smoothie blushed, trying to look as serious as possible, and said, no need to thank you. It was originally a matter between our companions. You were just involved in it. And, as for the reward, haven't I already collected it now? Ziyun replied with a smile. By the way, I should say that she is indeed Charlotte Lingerling's daughter. She has such a bold personality, haha. Although I don't object to Ziyun marrying you, but if you want to control us through marriage, or let us become your subordinates, I advise you to give up this idea as soon as possible. Ziyun waved his hand, took out a set of relatively loose clothes from the treasure house and threw it to her. I don't have any clothes that suit you here, so you can make do with them first. Ziyun turned around and slowly walked out of his room. I'll call our Dr. Tsunade to come over and check your body later. It would be a pity to leave such a good skin with burnt scars. After finishing speaking, Ziyun, who walked out of the room, joined hands, leaving Smoothie alone in the room. After seeing Ziyun leave, Smoothie had time to check the condition of his body, and found that, although there were not many wounds on the surface of the body, the internal strength of their body was extremely eroded. Although there is no fatal injury, but it is impossible to use her own strength perfectly. Besides, her skin, large and small wounds from burns remained. Not a big deal, but enough to affect the aesthetics. Seeing what happened to him, Smoothie couldn't help but shook his head, and he became even more curious about the woman who fought with Ziyun. Who is the woman who dared to fight Ziyun? Since Smoothie passed out prematurely, it is still unknown that Brunhilde is actually Ziyun's partner. Is this Ziyun's room? After looking at the surrounding environment, Smoothie secretly thought. Looking at Ziyun's clothes on the sofa, Smoothie picked them up silently, then went to the bed and sat down. Such a strong yet gentle man, maybe it would be a good thing to marry him. Boom, boom, boom. I'm coming in. While Smoothie was still thinking, Tsunade called by Ziyun knocked on the door. Then without waiting for Smoothie to respond, he opened the door and walked in. You're the one, called Smoothie. Tsunade walked carelessly in front of Smoothie, dragging his chin with one hand. Indeed, as Ziyun said, she is a tall woman. Page 373. However, with your appearance, you probably intend to seduce Ziyun from my family, right? Hearing Tsunade's words, Smoothie immediately got nervous. In her heart, she was just an outsider, and when facing Ziyun's female companion, she was still a little worried. After all, many of Ziyun's female companions have powerful powers. Haha, don't be nervous. Tsunade patted Smoothie's arm and said, however, you are really tall. Could this be the giant? I wanted to pat you on the shoulder, but I couldn't. Haha. Although Smoothie is sitting by the bed at the moment, his height is still much taller than Tsunade. However, maybe Ziyun really likes you. Tsunade looked up and down. Smoochie, you look pretty good, and you have a good figure, although you are too tall, but for Ziyun, it may still be quite attractive. How about it? Would you like me to help you speak well to Ziyun? Hearing Tsunade's words, Smoothie looked at Tsunade with wide-eyed eyes, and at the same time, he suspected that his ears had heard it wrong from time to time. I heard from Ziyun that you were sent by there for Emperor Charlotte Lingerling. It seems to be her daughter, right? Tsunade crossed her arms, looked at Smoothie with a smile, and that Charlotte Lingerling seems to like to recruit subordinates through marriage. I am afraid that it is false to invite Ziyun to the tea party, and it is true that Ziyun will marry you. Tsunade took a stool and stood on it, gently supporting Smoothie's chin with his right hand. Then, can I think that you, who was sent here, is the daughter Charlotte Lingling brought into marriage. Haha. Remind you first, if you want to control Ziyun through marriage, you will suffer quite a lot. Tsunade looked at the wide-eyed Smoothie and said, okay, let's not talk about these things for now. You'd better lie down first. Let me check your body for you. You don't want to keep these scars on your body, do you? After the treatment is over, I still have to go to the banquet. In addition, wait for you to come with me. Can I go too? Smoothie, who was lying down slowly, said. That's what Ziyun told me. Of course you can go. Tsunade's hands were shining, a greenish light, pressing on Smoothie's wound. However, if you don't intend to give Ziyun face, you don't have to participate. Hee. I would like to go, Smoothie replied quickly. In this case, let's hurry up. I can't wait to drink. As Tsunade said, the light from the palm immortal art in his hand was even stronger. The scar on Smoothie's body began to disappear at a speed visible to the naked eye, and slowly returned to its original skin color. Soon, the scar seemed to have disappeared, appears normally and disappears without a trace. Okay, now I'm going to treat the injuries in your body. Tsunade nodded, and began to check the condition of Smoothie's body. When Tsunade was treating Smoothie, Ziyun came to the courtyard of the palace. Jack, who was playing with Yu in the courtyard, ran towards Ziyun when he saw Ziyun. Seeing Jack jumping towards him, Ziyun quickly reached out to catch her. Your team has grown stronger again, Ziyun. This is Hawkeye. Hook came over. And everyone looks so powerful. I really don't know how many powerful people you, Blue Star, still have. Who knows? Ziyun shook his head. However, if you are an excellent swordsman, I can still call some people over. Are there any outstanding swordsmen? Mihawk said with interest. Compared to that, Miyamoto Musashi, how about those swordsmen? Hee. There is a swordsman named Sasaki Kojiro who is Miyamoto Musashi's formidable enemy. And like Musashi, Kojiro is also a pure swordsman. And their two kendos also went in completely opposite directions. Perhaps you will see him in the future. Page 374. Ziyun said. That's really looking forward to, but from this point of view, even if I defeat Miyamoto Musashi, one day, I may not be the world's #1 swordsman. After all, you still have so many excellent swordsmen there, Mihawk said. During the time spent here, while Mihawk taught Cuckoo, he also fully understood the power of Blue Star. Just for the powerful swordsman, Blue Star has a lot. Let's not talk about this first. Ziyun waved his hand. Next, we are going to hold a banquet. Since you're still here, let's come together. After that, you can leave here too. Oh. Can I leave now? Mihawk said. It's impossible to keep you here forever. Since you have also fulfilled the agreement, I can naturally let you go, Ziyun said with a smile. However, don't forget that the reward for training Cuckoo is only there. Devil fruit, you and Bailey didn't pay. Remember to get Berry in the future, and give Berry to us. Hearing Ziyun's words, Mihawk nodded. Khalifa, go ask Shang Lukai to come to the banquet with you. Ziyun looked at Khalifa at the side and said. Hearing that Ziyun asked his former colleagues to participate, Khalifa smiled and nodded. Can we join in too? Get stuck training swordsmanship. The resulting Khan said. You have performed well these 2 days. For Khalifa's sake, it is okay to let you participate. Ziyun turned around and waved at Cuckoo. Okay, you should go get ready first. After speaking, Ziyun hugged Jack and left the courtyard. Ah. Now I love such a party. Drake took a sip of his wine and said happily, it's only at this time that the King of Heroes can bring out so many treasures. You should thank my best friend. Gilgamesh took a sip of his wine and said calmly, if it wasn't for Ziyun, drinking like you, I wouldn't have brought out so much wine. Haha, anyway, as long as you can drink it. Drake said, Master, this wine is really delicious. Yu put down the wine glass in her hand, squinted her eyes and said, before, even in their palace, I never drank such wine. That's right. Even my Roman Empire can't produce such fine wine. Nero smashed the wine glass on the table in various ways. King Gilgamesh, he is really an enviable king. However, this is a pleasant occasion. So, let me sing a song for everyone to cheer up. The banquet, which was lively just now, became quiet instantly after Nero said these words. Well, what's wrong with you? Mihawk asked strangely while holding a wine glass. Dio, who was sitting next to Mihawk, patted himself on the head. That guy's songs are simply not something ordinary people can listen to. Hey, Dio. You bastard, I heard everything. Nero jumped to Dio's side, pointed at Dio and said, Yu, why don't you come and play a song for everyone? Seeing Nero and Dio arguing, Ziyun whispered to Yu, here, only your performance is worthy of such a banquet. Since it's the master's request, I will do it well. Yu smiled, summoned her own pipa out of thin air, played it slowly, and gradually the sound of the piano began to float in the field. Page 375. Dio, who was still arguing with Nero, stopped instantly when he heard the sound of the pipa. Oh. This is really good, dear friend, you seem to have summoned a good partner. Gilgamesh said with interest. Indeed, a normal musician finally came to our team. Dio sighed. Nero, What? Obviously I can sing pretty well, Elizabeth, although I can't guarantee Nero's singing voice. My singing voice must be very good. After all, I am an idol player. Is this really the young me? Camilla rested her forehead with one hand, shook her head and sighed. I don't remember being like this when I was young. Although Nero and Elizabeth didn't agree with Dio's words, when they heard Yu's performance, they sat down and listened attentively to the music she played. It's very different from our banquet. Smoothie, who was listening to Yu's moving music, looked around at the peaceful atmosphere. Thinking of the oppressive scene at Charlotte Lingling's banquet, he couldn't help feeling a little envious of Ziyan and his group. At Charlotte Lingling's banquet, even Smoothie, who is her daughter, has to worry about being attacked by Charlotte Lingling at any time. After all, Charlotte Lingling's temper is very bad, coupled with her cravings. It can be said that there is no Charlotte Lingling's banquet, Smoothie can spend it with peace of mind. Perhaps, they are the real family. Looking at the close Ziyan and others, Smoothie sighed. This banquet lasted for a long time and did not end until late at night. After that, everyone went back to their respective rooms. Ziyan, I'll leave first. When everyone was almost gone, Bbook came to Ziyan's side and said, It's really urgent, but it's up to you. Ziyan replied. After Bbook nodded, he turned and walked outside the palace. I'll see you off, Mr. Bbook. Seeing that Bbook was about to leave, Cuckoo, who had received his training, hurriedly followed. So, what's your plan, Smoothie? Ziyan turned to look at Smoothie. Your injury has been healed by Tsunade, right? If that's the case, it shouldn't affect your actions. Or, do you plan to stay with us for one night first? That, actually me. Faced with Ziyan's question, Smoothie didn't know how to answer for a while. Mom, I've run out of juice. At this time, Jack, who was sitting on Ziyan, raised the empty glass in his hand. Well, if you don't mind, please let me prepare juice for Jack. Hearing Jack's words, Smoothie reacted quickly, picked up a piece of fruit from his seat, and squatted down in front of Jack. After Smoothie put the fruit on Jack's cup, the fruit began to dry up and shrink rapidly, and their juice contained in it fell into Jack's cup one after another. Wow, that's amazing. Jack saw Smoothie say that, and then drank the juice in the glass in one gulp. I still want it. Jack raised his cup to Smoothie. Smoothie smiled, took a piece of fruit again and used his ability against Jack's cup. Seeing Jack tasting the juice with relish again, Smoothie turned his head to look at Ziyan. If possible, next, I would like to act together with Your Excellency Ziyan for a period of time. When Mother's tea party is about to start, I will also be convenient for you to lead the way. So, is that why you want to stay? Ziyan smiled and said, It's not impossible to arrive. But if you want to stay on our boat, don't you have to do something? Your Majesty Ziyan, don't worry, during this period of time, when encountering a battle, I will also take action. Page 376. Smoothie said quickly, There is no need to fight. Ziyan shook his head. Our team doesn't need you to fight. It just so happens that I still need a maid by my side. If you want, you can stay here. Of course, you need to do all the work that a maid should do. Hearing Ziyan's words, Smoothie gritted his teeth, but finally agreed. After all, if she really went back like this, she would definitely face Charlotte Lingling's punishment. Then it's decided. Ziyan hugged Jack and stood up. Your fruit ability is quite interesting. You can help me get some fruit juice on the boat in the future. Come on, I'll make arrangements for you. Ziyan walked and said, Besides, some of my companions are very aggressive. Don't run around here. If something goes wrong, I won't be responsible. After arranging Smoothie's room, Ziyan took Jack back to his own room. Originally, Ziyan planned to take Chi to her own room, but seeing that Jack wanted to be with Ziyan, Ziyan agreed. Sleep, Jack. Looking at Jack with his eyes slightly closed in his arms, Ziyan said with a smile. Jack nodded, rubbed against Ziyan's arms, found a comfortable position, and planned to fall asleep. Master, I'm coming in. At this time, Camilla's voice sounded outside the door. Camilla, what's the matter with you? Looking at Camilla who suddenly appeared, Ziyan couldn't help touching the place where Camilla bit him during the day, and a bad feeling faintly appeared in his heart. Although the bitten wound has long since healed due to Ziyan's powerful resilience, but seeing Camilla licking the corner of her mouth at this moment, Ziyan still trembled slightly. I'm sorry, Master, it's because your blood is too tempting. Just thinking of the smell of your blood makes me unable to sleep. Camilla walked up to Ziyan and sat down. So, can you please let me taste it? Of course, it's not impossible to ask me to pay some price. Haha. After finishing speaking, without waiting for what Ziyan said, Camilla's head moved to their side of Ziyan's neck, and she swallowed Ziyan's neck in one bite. Feeling this familiar feeling again, although Ziyan was rather helpless, he also followed. Camilla. Mom, does it hurt? At this moment, Jack has opened his eyes. Don't worry, Jack. Sister Camilla is just sucking some blood. I'll be fine. Ziyan said. Is the blood good to drink? Jack put the fingers of one hand to his mouth and looked at Camilla curiously. Forehead. Seeing Jack's interested expression, Ziyun felt that he should immediately get rid of Jack's thoughts. Jack doesn't need to do this. Sister Camilla is only interested in blood because of physical problems. Jack can't learn from Sister Camilla. Since mother says so, Jack will do it. Jack nodded, but her gaze never left Ziyun's neck bitten by Camilla. Come here. Camilla let go of Ziyun's neck and looked at Jack. As the master said, Jack doesn't need to learn how to suck blood from me. However, Jack can learn from the next thing. After all, although you are still young, you will always grow up. With that said, scarlet magic particles began to emit from Camilla's body, and the spirit clothing on her body began to dissipate slowly. Master, no, Ziyun, you are undoubtedly a good contractor, and you are the only one who can make a vampire like me suck blood without any scruples. However, Ziyun, you are also very cunning. After feeling the smell of your blood, won't I can't leave you anymore? In the future, I will definitely want you to seek your blood. If this is the case, then I will have to pay a considerable reward. As she spoke, Camilla made a charming look with her fingers in her mouth. How about it, Ziyun? I'm beautiful. Ziyun nodded without hesitation. Page 377. In this case, let me take the reward. You should be satisfied with this deal. Haha, Camilla said with a smile. Of course, that's what I want. I even feel like I can provide some more blood. Ziyun said. That would be wonderful. Camilla lowered her head and kissed Ziyun's forehead. That Jack is here. Although Ziyun said so, Camilla didn't intend to avoid Jack. Gradually, Ziyun let go of his worries and became, take the initiative. The morning sun cut through the night haze, and people on Chambord Island began to get up, one after another to start a new day of life. In the palace, in Ziyun's room, Ziyun slowly opened his eyes. Looking at Camilla and Jack in his arms, Ziyun smiled and stroked their white hair. For the cruel Camilla, Ziyun really didn't expect her to have such a naughty side. It's fine to dedicate yourself, but in the end, he even encouraged Jack to join in, and even taught her hand in hand. However, although he was surprised, Ziyun accepted it wholeheartedly. Thinking about setting sail today and needing to deal with some things by himself, Ziyun moved his body, intending to get up from between Camilla and Jack. Are you going to get up? Just as Ziyun made some movements, Camilla woke up, and looked at Ziyun with a pair of cold golden eyes with a charming color. Well, I have to deal with some things. Sorry to disturb you, Camilla. You can continue to rest, Ziyun said. It's you who should rest, isn't it? Camilla stretched out a hand and stroked Ziyun's side face. After all, you are facing the two of us. However, it's great to see you so energetic. In this case, it should be fine to have a good morning kiss. Hee. As she spoke, Camilla gently bit Ziyun's neck, slowly sucking Ziyun's blood. No matter how many times you taste it, you won't get tired of this taste. After sucking it, Camilla gently wiped the blood on her lips with her right index finger. Looking at Camilla's lips stained red with blood, Ziyun couldn't help but slap them. After a long time, the two separated. Ziyun, it's just dawn now, we shouldn't be in a hurry to set sail. Camilla brushed her fingers across Ziyun's skin and said. Ziyun shook his head. I'm not in a hurry to set sail. But since I'm awake, I want to deal with that matter as soon as possible. Hearing Ziyun's words, Camilla showed a charming smile, turned over and came to the top of Ziyun. In this case, why don't you stay with me for a while? Haha, mother. At this moment, Jack woke up rubbing his eyes. When seeing Camilla's action, Jack immediately sat up. I wanted to. It looks like Ziyun has been waiting for you for a while. You see, little Jack also wants you to spend more time with her. Camilla looked at Ziyun teasingly. However, I really want to be so proactive. If this is the case, I can't relax because it's good to be with mom like this. Jack tilted his head and said simply. Really, a girl you can't look down upon? Camilla laughed, and then printed it on Ziyun's lips. By the time Ziyun came out of the room, it was almost noon, and Ziyun, who was tidy up, found Tsunade who was still sleeping in his room. Page 378. Really, who told you to drink so much last night? Looking at the clothes thrown everywhere in the room, Ziyun shook his head. After helping Tsunade pack his clothes, he came to Tsunade's side and patted her on the back lightly to wake her up. It's Yun. Why, come to see my sister at this time? Can't it be because I want to do something happy with my sister? Tsunade opened his eyes, saw Ziyun again, and pulled him into his arms. Ziyun patted Tsunade's back and made intermittent sounds. What did you say? Tsunade loosened his grip slightly. Phew, I can finally talk. Ziyun took a deep breath, looked at Tsunade in front of him. Okay, Tsunade, I came to see you for business this time. I hope you can release that Navy yellow ape that was previously sealed by us. Now the whole world knows that the yellow ape has betrayed the Navy, and even caused huge losses to the Navy. I really want to see how the Navy and the world government will treat this yellow ape after he is free. Really, you came to see me because of business? Tsunade took Ziyun's hand and complained. I thought you were here to fulfill your promise. Last time, you obviously said last time that you would use the techniques you learned from me to massage me, but in the end it hasn't been fulfilled yet. Haha, sorry, but I haven't forgotten. Ziyun said with a smile. I'll give you a massage after you release the yellow ape. That's right. Tsunade shouted happily, then quickly put on and tidied up his clothes. Then after Jai-Ian summoned a small clone of his psychic beast, the scroll that imprisoned their yellow ape was taken out. Just release him here. Looking at the scroll on the table, Tsunade looked at Xian and asked. Xian nodded. Just here. After the matter is over, I will personally throw him out of their Chambord Islands. Okay then. Tsunade smiled, and quickly sealed his hands together. Soon, with Tsunade's slender hand clapping on the scroll, the yellow monkey who had been imprisoned for several months came to the real space again. The yellow ape who came to the outside world suddenly opened his eyes after remaining in a coma for a short time. When he saw Xian and Tsunade in front of him again, he suddenly recalled the scene before. He was sealed. Huang Yuan's eyes widened, and just as he wanted to get up and stay away from Xian and Tsunade, Xian's foot stepped on him hard. Boom! The huge force even made the yellow ape cough up a mouthful of blood. Long time no see, yellow ape. Xian looked at Huang Yuan amusedly. Why, we just met, and you want to leave without saying hello? Cough, cough. Sure enough, it's not that easy to leave. Huang Yuan relaxed his body slightly, as if giving up and fleeing. Xian, you are really a terrifying monster. But haven't we just met? Why do we say we haven't seen each other for a long time? Although in your sense, the time has not passed for a long time, but it has been several months since you were sealed. Xian smiled and said, tell me, after such a long time, what changes will happen outside? Just to remind you, do you still remember us here? That the person who looks the same as you? Hearing Xian's words, Huang Yuan suddenly widened his eyes, and a bad feeling appeared in his heart. By the way, we are now in the Chambord Islands. What do you think, based on our situation, what will be done to the Tanlong people on this island? Haha. Looking at Huang Yuan's expression, Xian found it very interesting. Now, this island is already our territory of Blue Star. In the future, you are not allowed to come here. Otherwise, you will bear the consequences. Page 379. What do you mean? Are you planning to let me go? Huang Yuan frowned and said. Certainly. Xian nodded. After all, you are of no use to me. After finishing speaking, without waiting, Huang Yuan reacted. Xian quickly took out a linen bag from the space, and directly put Huang Yuan in it using telekinetic power. Be honest, if you still want to leave. Hearing Xian's words, Huang Yuan, who was still struggling, immediately stopped. Although he was very aggrieved, and he didn't know the reason why Xian let him go, but Huang Yuan decided to be honest in order to make the situation change. After all, facing Tsunade and Xian, he was not sure of defeating them. What's more, this place is in the enemy's place. In Huang Yuan's heart, there may be many other Xian's companions here. Seeing that the yellow ape in his pocket stopped struggling, Xian dragged him with telekinetic power, intending to take him to the coast of Chambord Islands and let him leave. Wait, let me go too, Xian. Seeing that Xian was about to leave, Tsunade quickly grabbed him. Xian nodded, and walked out of the room holding Tsunade's palm. And at the speed of the two, they soon came to an uninhabited coast. Just here, looking at the deserted coast in front of him, with a few unused and abandoned ships stocked, Xian nodded. After controlling the telekinesis to open the pocket containing the yellow ape, Xian silently touched the restraints on his body. Now, let's get out of here. Huang Xuan looked at Huang Yuan with a smile. I hope you can show a good face when I see you next time. Hee. The yellow ape looked at Xian fearfully, then turned into a golden ray, left the Chambord Islands inadvertently, and shot towards the distance with extreme speed. Yan, tell me, will this guy return to the Navy headquarters? Tsunade, who held Xian's arm and leaned tightly on him, said. If that's the case, presumably Sengoku and Sakazuki will treat Huang Yuan well. However, what is certain is that the Navy will be lively for a while. Haha. After Xian finished speaking, he turned around with Tsunade. Let's go, since the matter is over, we should go back. Okay, but before I go back, I have something to do. Tsunade grabbed Xian and smelled it on himself. I still smell a lot of wine on my body. I came out in a hurry just now, and I didn't have time to wash it off. Why don't we go wash up now? I found a good place on the Chambord Islands. Anyway, it's not too late now, just go with me. Once, as he said that, Tsunade used both hands to make Xian's arm deeply buried in his bosom. You know, we are leaving this island soon. Taking advantage of the convenience now, why don't you accompany me the once? It's fine, but what exactly is the place you're talking about? There shouldn't be anything particularly interesting on this island. After all, there is no casino here, Xian said. Xian has already learned about the affairs on this island, so Xian still knows about their island's industries. It's not a casino, but you'll love this place. Tsunade smiled mysteriously, and pulled Xian to run. And driven by Tsunade, it didn't take long for the two of them to arrive at the place Tsunade wanted to come to. It's here. Tsunade stood at the door of a store and stopped his steps. Well, This place won't make you regret it. How should I put it? It should be said that this place is a place that makes me feel very complicated. Look at the big soup written on the door. Words. Ziyun's expression is extremely complicated. Hey, it seems that Yan has already been here. What a pity. I thought I was the first person to come here with you. Page 380. Tsunade approached Ziyun with an interested look on his face. Can you tell me who came with you? Oh. Isn't this Lord Ziyun, come to take care of my family's business again? At this time, the proprietress of the bathhouse came out. When she saw that Ziyun, who had been here with Empress Hancock, came again, she immediately greeted enthusiastically. Oh, I brought a new female companion over this time. She is a beautiful woman just like the previous one. The proprietress looked up and down. Tsunade said, it's still daytime, and I happen to have no guests here. Would you like to take your female companion to experience our open-air bath? Of course I want to experience it. It is for this purpose that I brought Ziyun here. Tsunade said with a smile, Miss Boss, make arrangements for us. We are going to the open-air bath now, and prepare some wine for us by the way. Of course, don't let other people in during this period. Of course, I will do it. The boss patted his chest and promised, you two, please follow me. With that said, the proprietress walked into the door. Tsunade pulled Ziyun by the hand and followed closely behind. Here is the wine you asked for. I have specially prepared some appetizers for the two of you. The proprietress walked up to Tsunade and Ziyun with a tray. I'm not bragging. The steak here is better than any other restaurant on this island. Oh, really? My requirements for steak are very strict. If it's not good, we won't pay for it. Tsunade said with interest. Of course, in addition, it is my honor for you two to come here, and I dare not take your money. If my old man finds out that I have taken money from Mr. Ziyun, he will scold me severely. Although in the end, he was the one who apologized to me. Said the proprietress. Tsunade smiled. Hey, it seems that the proprietress's family status is quite high. It's okay. Although she spoke modest words, the face of the proprietress was particularly proud. Okay, let's not talk about this for now. Madam Boss, please prepare some more jugs of wine for me. Your jug of sake is not enough for me to drink. With that said, Tsunade turned to Ziyun. Yun, you go inside and wait. I'll come over after I get the wine. Saying that, Tsunade stood behind Ziyun, pushing him towards the open-air bath. Helpless, Ziyun had no choice but to go in alone. Is it a Japanese-style open-air bath? Speaking of which, this is the first time I have experienced it. The last time I came with Hancock, but I didn't go down. Walking into the bath, Ziyun leaned against the shore and said with a sigh, although he made up his mind not to come here last time. But since he was pulled in by Tsunade, Ziyun decided to enjoy it. Tilting his neck slightly, Ziyun closed his eyes and enjoyed the warm pool water. On the other side, in the lobby where Tsunade is, the proprietress finally prepared sake and brought it over. Hello, the sake you want, I have it ready. Saying that, the proprietress put a relatively large tray in front of Tsunade, and then took out a tray from behind her. If Ziyun is still here, when he sees this box, he will definitely shout and use the ability to stop time directly to make this box disappear. You are Master Ziyun's doctor, Master Tsunade. I have seen your arrest warrant, and I have to say that you are much more beautiful than the one on the arrest warrant. Haha, of course. Tsunade said happily, the proprietress looks good. Even at this age, she still has a charm. Of course, you must know that my old lady was the most beautiful woman in the Chambord Islands before. Although she was not as good as you, Tsunade-sama, at that time, I was also their most beautiful woman. Fascinated quite a lot of excellent men. Hearing Tsunade's compliment, the proprietress immediately straighten your back. Page 381. The poor man who will marry my family is also lucky for him. Haha. By the way, I almost forgot about this thing. The proprietress who came back to her senses pointed to the box she just took out. Master Tsunade, this is a medicinal material that can enhance male power. It is very effective. Tsunade froze for a moment when he heard the boss lady's words. Actually, Master Ziyun brought another beautiful lady into our bathhouse last time, but he came out after a while. So I thought. As she said that, the proprietress turned her head and looked around, and when she saw that there was no one else nearby, she leaned into Tsunade's ear and whispered, that, Mr. Ziyun, has he been a little bit, just that, tired? Yes, it is exhaustion. The proprietress had a regretful expression on her face. However, I can also understand that, although Master Ziyun is still so young, Master Ziyun has many excellent and beautiful female companions like Master Tsunade, so there is nothing to do if he lacks energy. Last time, I also planned to give Master Ziyun this box, but Master Ziyun seemed very shy, so he didn't accept it. Therefore, I would like to ask Tsunade-sama to hand over the medicinal materials in this box to Ziyun-sama for me. Believe me, after using this, you will be very satisfied. Tsunade-sama. Seeing the proprietress who was blinking at him vigorously, Tsunade finally reacted, and then, holding his belly, he burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, it's really not good, It's so funny, my abdominal muscles hurt a little, ha ha ha. Tsunade patted the counter with his hand, tears came out of his laughter. Ha ha. Don't worry, I will give this to Ziyun, thank you, lady boss. After finishing speaking, Tsunade walked towards the open-air bath with a tray, and the corner of her mouth was always smiling. Yun, I'm coming in. After Ziyun lay down for a while, Tsunade walked in wearing a bathrobe with a different number. Tsunade came to Ziyun with moving steps and sat down, then stared at Ziyun with a smile. All the time. Well, what's the matter, Tsunade? Is there something on my face? Ziyun touched his face and said. Tsunade didn't speak, and silently took out the box that the proprietress gave him from behind. Seeing this box, Ziyun, who was originally relaxed, suddenly turned dark. You should know about this, ha ha. The corners of Tsunade's mouth curled up, and he suppressed the idea of laughing and said to Ziyun, it shouldn't be, according to the proprietress, you only brought one person here last time, so it shouldn't be physically weak. Or, you are really dying. Do you want me to give you a good physical examination as a doctor? Ha ha. Stop talking, Tsunade. Ziyun slapped himself on the forehead. You know, it's impossible for things to be like this. Moreover, you also understand my physical strength, so I won't be in that situation. If that's the case, then what happened that day? Tsunade stretched out his snow-white calf and stepped into the pool. I'm very interested in this matter. Seeing Tsunade leaning on him and staring straight at him, Ziyun shook his head, and slowly told the story of how he helped Hancock erase the Tanlongren slave seal that day. Ha 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 ha, it's no good, it's really no good. Tsunade held her belly with her hands and laughed so loudly, the white robe on her body couldn't hide her beautiful posture under her trembling. I didn't expect you to be misunderstood by the lady boss because of such a thing. Anyway, let you get some benefits from Hancock, it's better than being misunderstood like this. Tsunade laughed and said to Ziyun boldly, not feeling awkward at all when he described Hancock and Ziyun like that. When you say that, I really feel at a loss. Ziyun supported Tsunade, one hand was gently pressing on Tsunade's body, using their massage skills learned from Tsunade to soothe her muscles. If I had known, I would have shot Hancock directly. Ha ha. Even so, Ziyun didn't have the idea of attacking her when Hancock disagreed. At this time, it was just a joke with Tsunade. Well, a little to the left. Yes, that's right there. After adjusting his position, he stood in front of Ziyun, and Tsunade, whose back was tightly attached to Ziyun's body, hummed softly under Ziyun's pressure. So, do you want me to help you take that Hancock down? I think she seems very interested in you. Page 382. Hee, let it be. Ziyun stretched out his hands, hugged Tsunade in his arms, stretched his head forward, and stuck it on Tsunade's shoulder. In the presence of you, even if Hancock is the most beautiful woman in the world, to me, he is much less attractive. As he spoke, Ziyun took a breath of the herbal fragrance emanating from Tsunade's body. Hee, what you said today is really sweet, Yun. Did you put honey on your mouth when you went out? Tsunade turned around and held Ziyun's head with both hands. Come on, let my sister check it out. Finish talking. Put your hand close to Ziyun, and start to size up Ziyun carefully. Well, it's really sweet, but it shouldn't be honey, it's more like the smell of a partner. After taking a light bite on Ziyun's purest body, Tsunade let go of Ziyun. It seems that your partner has made a move, Yun. It's not as exaggerated as you said. No matter how you say it, the taste can't be preserved for so long. Ziyun shook his head and said, you don't deny that there are women. Tsunade smiled, then stood up from the pool, went to a deck chair and lay down, showing his silky back to Ziyun. What are you waiting for? Don't you want to help me relax? It's not convenient in the pool. Ziyun nodded with a smile, also stood up from the pool, and quickly came to Tsunade's side, squatted down, and began to gently press his hands on his back. It's really good, although it's not half of my skills, but it's pretty good, Tsunade said with enjoyment. Ziyun smiled, lowered his head and lightly kissed Tsunade's beautiful back. Then you will have to trouble Tsunade-sensei to teach me a lot. After I have learned it, I will definitely be able to repay you, Tsunade-sensei. Hee, you actually want to enjoy it. Tsunade turned around, faced Ziyun, and reached out to stroke Ziyun's beautiful hair. But who told you that you are the one I like? As he said that, Tsunade wanted to get up and change places with Ziyun. Ziyun hurriedly held her down with his hands. Let me serve you now. We will have plenty of time for you to teach me in the future, won't you? Hearing Ziyun's words, Tsunade smiled and lay down on the bench again. After seeing Tsunade relaxing his body, Ziyun resumed the method of soothing the muscles and meridians learned from her. Speaking of which, what are you going to do with that Charlotte smoothie from the pirates? Do you really want her to come with us? Tsunade stretched his whole body, allowing Ziyun to perform better. You should know the purpose of that woman. She wants to marry you. Hee, since she wants to stay, let her stay. Ziyun smiled and said, anyway, I don't worry about her doing something bad on our boat. After all, you are on board. As for Charlotte Lingerling, I have to go sooner or later anyway, So it's good to bring a guide. I am very jealous of the history of Charlotte Lingling. Hey, don't you have any interest in her? Anyway, she is also a pretty person. Moreover, the conditions in all aspects are quite good, and they are quite big. Hee. Isn't this quite in line with your requirements? Tsunade said. Thinking of Smoothie's figure, Ziyan nodded. That's true, especially her height. Hee. When I'm with her, I feel like a child. As for the marriage, hee. After we get to their territory, we probably have to make a big fuss. At that time, there may be no need for marriage. Besides, Charlotte Lingling, who happens to be the 4th emperor, has quite a large territory. Don't you think it's a perfect place for us? Hee. It looks like this beautiful girl will be sad because of you. Tsunade shook his head at the thought that Smoothie would bring a wolf to their territory. In other words, their warriors who rescued them under Charlotte Lingling's terror. How many people are really loyal to her? Haha. Ziyan laughed. Page 383. That's right. Maybe when the time comes, you can still directly take in a lot of daughters from Lingling. Tsunade said with a smile. How about it? Do you want me to help you recover them? Really? It seems that this is the only way to block your words. Ziyan raised his head from the state of kissing Tsunade, and looked at her helplessly. Let's not talk about whether her daughter will hate me, just because of her quite a lot of stranger-looking daughters. I can't accept it. Smoothie came out so beautifully. It's a small probability event. Hee. Since that's the case, then I won't talk about it. Tsunade used all his strength to pull Ziyan into his arms. Why don't you do something else with my sister? That way, you can also keep my mouth shut. Still, you need this to give you little help. Saying that, Tsunade picked up the box that was set aside. After finishing speaking, Ziyan immediately hugged Tsunade, jumped into the pool water, splashing pieces of water, and the box in Tsunade's hand also fell to the shore of the pool, as if witnessing the scene in front of him. After a long time, Tsunade broke out. Fragrant sweat drew circles on Ziyan's face. By the way, do you want to prove something in front of this proprietress, so you stayed here with me for so long? Well, I don't deny it, that's all. Ziyan looked at Tsunade, who looked like a ripe apple in front of him. However, the more important reason is that you are so charming, Tsunade. So, I can't help it. Okay, I know your mouth is sweet. Tsunade smiled and stood up from the bench. Get up, it's getting late now. Don't we have to set sail? Ziyan nodded, followed Tsunade and stood up. It was already afternoon when Ziyan and Tsunade came out of the bathhouse. Seeing that Ziyan and Tsunade came out of the bathhouse so late, the proprietress firmly believed in the effect of the medicinal materials recommended to her by her friend, and decided to buy more for her husband. However, these things are beyond Ziyan's ability to know. After returning to the palace, Ziyan brought his companions to the shore, ready to go to Fishman Island. And Gilgamesh and others also came to the shore to see off Ziyan and his party, who were about to set sail. The revolutionary Long and others came to see him off together. After confirming that he wanted to cooperate with Ziyan, Long showed great enthusiasm. Not only told Ziyan the next strategy and staffing of the revolutionaries, but also personally stayed during this period to build a good relationship with Ziyan and increase mutual understanding. During the communication with Archeria, Gilgamesh, Ziyan and others, I learned a lot of ideas that they had never thought of that could help their revolution. Coupled with the technological products made by Tesla on the Chambord Islands in the past 2 days, Long even strengthened Ziyan and others' belief that they can change the world. Master, this is something you told me to make. At this time, Tesla walked over with a box of things. It's done so quickly. Ziyan took the box and saw that there were some Langsing unique things inside. Handheld, video camera, digital camera. This is really great. As expected of Tesla, it was completed so quickly. I originally planned to ask you to get it when I return to the Chambord Islands. Of course, I'm a genius. These little gadgets only need a little time, and I can show them perfectly, Tesla said proudly. However, something like a handheld needs a game to support it. Now, I just made a game in it. Master, just make do with it first, and I will give you other games later. Thanks, Tesla. With these things, I can play the game as happily as before, Ziyan said with a smile. However, I really didn't expect you, Tesla, to be quite good at compiling games. Originally, I just said it casually. Although I haven't touched it before, I can still make these things after researching, Tesla said. This thing, let me keep it first. Page 384. Just when Ziyan was about to say something, Skaha went to Ziyan's side and took their camera. Ziyan, why? I've heard from Yang Yuan that you're going to practice spear skills by cheating, right? With that said, Skathach looked at Brunhilde at the side. But it looks like you didn't cheat successfully. Also, the way I train is just so annoying to you. From now on, I will increase the training methods for you. When my spear skills reach my level, I will return this thing to you. As he spoke, Skatha showed a cold smile. Seeing such a smile, Ziyan couldn't help trembling. That, Skathach, listen to my explanation. Ziyan quietly glanced at Yuan, and when she saw her holding her head and daring to face him, Ziyan could only shake her head helplessly. No need to explain. Anyway, You should work hard in the future. Compared with this, you can put more effort into training. Ha. Scar threw the handheld in his hand. Of course, you don't even think about getting another handheld from Tesla. In the days to come, I will supervise you more strictly. Seeing Scar's serious look, Ziyan could only nod helplessly. After putting the remaining equipment from Tesla into the Babylon vault, he took the lead on board the Golden Deer. Yo, Ziyan, are you going to Murloc Island like this? You can't go to Murloc Island without coating. Not far away, Pluto Rayleigh walked over with a casual expression on his slippers. Do you need me to help you with coating? My technology is the best on this island, and the price is negotiable. Oh, I don't need that kind of thing on my boat, old man. Drake smiled, put on his captain's hat, then turned around, facing the sea. Then, let's go, Golden Deer. As Drake swayed the golden rudder, a layer of golden radiance, but transparent magic shield was formed around the Golden Deer. Then, everyone, please take care of the Chambord Islands. On the Golden Deer, Ziyan waved his hands and said to Gilgamesh and the others, don't worry, dear friend, our territory will not be defiled by anyone. No matter who it is, as long as it dares to attack this island, I will make him regret coming to this world. Ha, Gilgamesh said. And Li Shuwen and others also nodded. Ziyan smiled, and soon, in the eyes of everyone on the island, the Golden Deer sank rapidly, heading towards the bottom of the sea at an extremely fast speed. Soon, it disappeared from the perception of the people on the island. After Ziyan, Drake and others left, Gilgamesh, Ymir Shiru, Li Shuwen, Lu Chi and others also left the shore and walked towards the palace. Monkey Dragon, it's something the master asked me to give you. After Jin, Gilgamesh and others left, Tesla took out a modern pistol from behind and threw it at the dragon. Is this a gun? Catching the pistol thrown by Tesla, Long said doubtfully. Try it, Tesla said lightly. Long nodded and pulled the trigger against the ground. Boom. This gun is much more powerful than ordinary guns. Long's domineering look clearly felt that the speed of the bullet leaving the muzzle of the gun was extremely fast, which was far beyond the comparison of ordinary guns. Moreover, its penetrating power is also better than that of ordinary guns. Too much. Through the bullet holes in the ground, the dragon sees. By the way, the bullet has reached about half a meter underground. General guns, even rifles can't reach this level. Since you have decided to come to our side, the master will ask me to produce some weapons for you. Tesla crossed his arms. This thing that can fire 12 bullets in a row is just a small thing, and I have something much more powerful than this thing in my laboratory. According to the master's instructions, I will set up a factory on this island to produce these weapons. Page 385. And these weapons are provided for you to use. Real. Hearing Tesla's words, the eyes of Long and his fellow revolutionaries behind him were all wide-eyed, and the joy on their faces was undisguised. That's great, Dragon. Ivankov's big face suddenly appeared next to the dragon. This pistol is so powerful, and it can fire 12 bullets in a row. This will be of great help to our revolutionary cause. I know. Long nodded. Even though he was always serious, he smiled at this time. I'm only in charge of research, and the production of weapons is mainly handled by your people. If you want more weapons, send more of your men over here. As for the funds, your revolutionary army don't have to worry. We, Blue Star, will provide them. Tesla continued. Really, Tesla boy, you didn't lie to me, did you? Ivankov approached Tesla excitedly and said. Looking at the big face of Ivankov approaching him, Tesla frowned, moved his fingers slightly, and a current burst from his hand and landed on Ivankov's body. Immediately, Ivankov convulsed and fell to the ground. Ziyan once said, since you are here, we will naturally give you enough support. Tesla turned around. Follow me to my research room first, I will show it to you, and you will not be disappointed. Hearing Tesla's words, Ivankov, who was still convulsed just now, got up immediately, and walked towards Tesla's research room with Long and others. Really, not only is it powerful, but it's also involved in technology. Raleigh looked at Tesla's back in the distance and shook his head. Forget it, I'm not retired, I should take care of things. Let the Navy and the world government worry about it. Hey, Grandma, we came to Chambord Islands, sister. Can the elder sister's illness really be cured? Marigold said worriedly. Yes, mother-in-law, you said that if you find Ziyan, Sister Hancock's illness will be cured. But why does His Excellency Ziyan have a way to treat her sister? Sanderson Ear said. Besides, why did my sister fall ill shortly after leaving the Chambord Islands? Obviously, our celestial dragon seals have all been removed. This should be something to be happy about. Could it be that my lord's sister is too happy to be like this? Marigold worriedly looked at Hancock on the bed, flushed, sweating, and acting very painful. Oh, you don't understand. The mother-in-law sighed and shook her head. Hancock's illness is not an ordinary illness, and it is because of Ziyan that she has this illness. But why did my sister get sick? Because of His Excellency Ziyan, Marigold said puzzledly. It is precisely because of falling in love with Ziyan that Hancock became like this. Because of leaving Ziyan. That's right, it's lovesickness that Hancock has. The mother-in-law said. Marigold and Sandersonia put their hands on their faces and looked at Grandma in disbelief. This is also the curse of our family. The mother-in-law shook her head in confusion. For us, if we fall in love with someone, we cannot be with him. You will get a kind of lovesickness. This kind of disease will make people gradually weak, and in the end, you will usher in death. How come? Sandersonia covered her mouth in disbelief, and tears began to fall from her dark green eyes. In this case, we must find your Excellency Ziyun. But, is His Excellency Ziyun really willing to accept his sister? He has many excellent female companions by his side. Marigold said anxiously. When I was in Chambord Islands, I discovered that Hancock had a lot of affection for Ziyun. However, I think as time goes by, this kind of goodwill will slowly disappear, and we, Nine Snakes and Blue Star, are too deeply involved, and we will also face blows from the Navy and the world government. So, I originally wanted to leave with Hancock. Page 386. But, I didn't expect Hancock to fall ill like this before he left for a long time. Hey. The mother-in-law was full of regret. However, from this point of view, we must establish a good relationship with Blue Star. Build a good relationship with them and pray for them to protect our country, so that even if Hancock really wants to be with Ziyun, the security of our country can be guaranteed. As for Ziyun's female companions, although they are also very beautiful, Hancock is the most beautiful woman in the world. You two have to have confidence in your sister. I believe that even Ziyun, as long as Hancock is serious, he will be attracted by Hancock. The real problem is that Hancock is too arrogant. If she wants to monopolize Ziyun, their female companions around Ziyun will definitely not agree. At that time, even if it is Hancock, Ziyun may not be partial to her. Hey, I hope things can develop in a good direction. After finishing speaking, the mother-in-law looked worriedly at Hancock on the bed, and only hoped to reach the Chambord Islands soon. Master Sandersonia, Lord Marigold, we have arrived at the Chambord Islands. Just as the mother-in-law and the three of them looked at the sick Hancock worriedly, the voices of the crew of the 9 snake pirates came from outside the door. Great. The mother-in-law happily came to Hancock's side. Snake girl, get up quickly, we have reached the Chambord Islands. You can see Ziyun now. Hancock suddenly opened his eyes when he heard what Grandma Yi said. Really? We're really back? Hancock got up quickly, picked up the cheongsam that Ziyun gave her by the bedside, and was about to rush out. Lord Ziyun, that's great, I'll see you again soon. Hancock thought to himself. Wait, Snake Princess. The mother-in-law stopped Hancock. Have you really thought about it? If we want to be with Ziyun, we will completely cut off the connection with the world government and the Navy. You know what the consequences will be. HMPH. So what if I don't become their Chief High? I am so beautiful, they will definitely forgive me. Hancock looked proudly at his mother-in-law standing in front of him. And you old woman, don't stand in my way. What I mean is, if you really make up your mind, then build a good relationship with Ziyun and win the protection of Blue Star. This is very important to our country. The mother-in-law said. You don't need to tell me, I will do it too. Hancock clasped his hands together, looked up drunk. If it's Master Ziyun's order, I will be willing to do whatever it is. Mother-in-law, so, what about the women around him? Have you thought about how to get along with them? Hearing Grandma's words, Hancock couldn't help being taken aback, and then collapsed on the ground. Oh, why is this happening? I just want to be with Mr. Ziyun, but why? There are already so many women by his side. Hancock touched his tears with one hand, looking extraordinarily sad. Granny said, Hancock, Sandersonia, Marigold, sister. However, even if this is the case, I still want to be with Master Ziyun. No matter what difficulties it is, I will overcome it. Just as she was about to comfort Hancock, she stood up, quickly walked out of the room, and headed towards the Chambord Islands. What? You mean Master Ziyun has left here and went to Fishman Island? Having made up his mind, Hancock headed towards the palace as soon as he landed on their Chambord Islands. After learning of her purpose, Cuckoo, who was guarding the gate, hurriedly informed Gilgamesh. After knowing the inside story, Gilgamesh also interviewed Hancock and Grandma's with a little interest. 3. Could it be that what this king said is not clear enough? Gilgamesh sat on a high throne, looking down at Hancock and the others with a smile on his face. It's a pity, if you can arrive an hour earlier, you can catch up with the golden deer. Hearing Gilgamesh's words, Han bit his thumb anxiously. No, I must go to Fishman Island now. Hancock immediately turned around and walked out the door. Empress Hancock, I confirm again, you want to be my best friend, Yun's concubine, right? Gilgamesh said. Page 387. Yes. Hanku stood up and looked directly into Gilgamesh's eyes. I have made up my mind that in this life, I will always follow Lord Ziyun, no matter what. Nothing can change my mind. Ha 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 ha, interesting woman, but I do feel your emotion. My feelings for Ziyun are probably about to catch up to Drake and the others. Gilgamesh laughed. Impossible. The one who has the deepest affection for Master Xian must be me. Hancock said. Ha ha. Gilgamesh waved his hand. Since this is the case, what will you do if Xian asks you to hand over your country? If Lord Xian wants, I am willing to hand over the throne. I just need to be his concubine. Speaking of this, Hancock had already imagined the scene of being with Xian in his mind, and his face flushed instantly. Yes, you are very good. Gilgamesh smiled and said, I, Gilgamesh, admit you. As long as Xian is willing to accept you, I will also help take care of your country. Ha 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 ha. Hancock nodded, walked out of the door with strides, ready to go immediately. Go to Fishman Island. Master Hero King, hello. The mother-in-law who stayed behind bowed slightly to salute. Excuse me, can Blue Star really protect our country? It's not that I don't believe in Blue Star's power, but in this situation, we really need Blue Star's help. As long as Xian agrees to accept Hancock, your country is also the place we will protect. Gilgamesh leaned on the seat behind him. However, all of this is based on Xian's willingness. I understand. Then, I will take my leave first. Saying that, Grannies withdrew from the gate and chased after Hancock. The mother-in-law who got the guarantee from Gilgamesh also felt slightly relieved. At the same time, she also agrees with Hancock's idea of wanting to be with Xian, and at the same time, Granny Yi is determined to help Hancock with ideas and win Xian's heart. Boom. In the knocking bamboo bar, Rayleigh is slowly drinking the rum in his glass. Suddenly, the door was pushed open vigorously. That woman is. It's Hancock. The Empress of Qiuhai. Why is she here? Isn't Master Xian and Qiuhai enemies? However, the most beautiful woman in the world is really beautiful. Hearing what the drinkers said in the bar, Hancock gave them a cold look. Immediately, the ordinary people in the hotel felt a pressure envelop themselves. Immediately after looking at each other, ran away from the bar. Little Hancock, you have scared away a lot of my guests this time. This loss is not small. Xiaoqi smoked a cigarette and looked at Hancock with a teasing smile. Also, if you let Xian know that you are using domineering arrogance against ordinary people in his territory, he might be angry. Rayleigh, I need you to do me a favor. I'm going to Murloc Island. You immediately go-ting my ship. Hancock walked to Rayleigh and said, Are the Murlocs here? Lee put down his wine glass. Xian's destination is also there. What are you doing there? You don't need to worry about it. I'm in a hurry. You immediately. Now, help me coat it. Hancock frowned and said. Lee shook his head and stood up. It's really inconsiderate of the old man. Forget it. For the sake of being so familiar, I will help you. With that said, Rayleigh took the lead and walked out of the knocking bamboo bar. Hee. It looks like little Hancock likes Xian very much. Page 388. Lying on the bar, Xiaoqi looked at Hancock's back, raised the corners of her mouth slightly. This is really interesting. However, if Hancock is really with Xian, can the money for the wine be counted on Xian's head? Ha ha. Looking at the wine bottles left by the guests who ran away in the bar, Xiaoqi said with a smile. Ha ha ha. I really laughed to death. On the Golden Deer, in Drake's room, Drake sat on the seat and patted his thigh with a smile. I didn't expect such a thing to happen to Yun. It's a pity that I didn't go to that bathhouse with Yun. It doesn't matter. Anyway, didn't Xian set up a linked Psi transfer site in Gilgamesh's palace? If you want, you can take Yun with you at any time. As he spoke, Tsunade who was sitting by the bed looked aside at Xian with an embarrassed expression on his face. When the time comes, why don't I go together? Ha ha, it looks like you can't be cleansed by that proprietress. No matter how strong you are in the future, she will think that this is the effect of her medicine. Derek patted Xian on the back and said, Honey, I'm coming in. Just as Xian was about to say something, Yuan Liguang walked in with a bowl of hot food. Honey, I prepared this specially for you. Try it quickly. Thank you, Raigo. Xian took the bowl that Yuan Liguang handed over, and saw that the rich soup in the bowl was emitting white smoke slowly, and the sweet smell constantly stimulated Xian's sense of smell. Holding the bowl, Xian smiled, and under Minamoto Reimiko's expectant gaze, he drank their soup in the bowl in one gulp. It's delicious, Lei Aiguang. However, why does it smell like medicinal herbs? Because this is a medicinal diet. Tsunade walked up to Xian and sat down, putting a hand on Xian's shoulder. This bowl of soup is also due to me. I helped Minamoto Reimiko adjust the taste of the medicinal materials. This medicine is not the medicine in the box you brought back, Tsunade. Derek said with a smile. Hearing Drake's words, Xian's face darkened, and he looked at Tsunade. I saw that Tsunade was blinking mischievously at himself at this time. Seeing Tsunade like this, Xian sighed, and randomly looked at Minamoto Reimitsu. I'm sorry, dear, but it's my fault that I didn't think of it before, and it makes you so weak. As a wife, I really failed my duty, and I will definitely make more energy-enhancing medicinal meals for you in the future. With tears in his eyes, Minamoto said apologetically. Obviously dear, with so many female companions around me, I should have thought that you would lack energy. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Seeing that Minamoto Yorimitsu really believed this, Xian couldn't help but slapped himself on the face, and then looked at Tsunade with a gloomy expression. Hey hey. Tsunade made a triumphant gesture to Ziyun, who was looking over. You bastard. Ziyun stretched out both hands to grab Tsunade's pretty face, and pulled it out forcefully. Don't spread the word to me everywhere. You see, Lei Aiguang really believes it. Haha, what's wrong with that? Tsunade stretched out his right hand and placed it on Ziyun's thigh, gently pinching it. Recently, there are more and more female partners around you. If you still insist on living now, you may not be able to do what you want in the future. I think you don't want this to happen. In this way, it's just right to make up for the body early. Haha, I think what Tsunade said makes sense. Hey, Drake raised his hand and said, what makes sense? Can you have more confidence in me? Ziyun said helplessly. Then, how about page 389? Got to try it now. Tsunade approached Ziyun, and the front of his body was tightly leaning against Ziyun's body. I haven't tried with 3 people yet. Why don't I try it here? Haha. Hearing Tsunade's words, Ziyun swallowed hard, and looked at the 3 people around with a little blush on his face. 3. It's really good to pay attention. Drake put down the red coat in his hand, and hugged Ziyun tightly from behind. Speaking of which, Tsunade, we planned to do this a long time ago. Do you want to try their moves we discussed before? Of course, this is a great opportunity. Moreover, with the addition of Yu and Lei Guang, the effect of implementation will definitely be better. But, didn't it mean that my dear's physical strength is not enough? Is it really okay for us to do this? Lei Guang's face turned red, although he really wanted to, but considering Ziyun's body, he seemed a little hesitant. Don't worry, Minamoto Reimitsu, didn't Ziyun just eat the medicinal food you made? Tsunade took Minamoto Reimitsu to the side of Ziyun. Also, as long as you make more food for him to restore his strength in the future, I will help. This is the diagnosis made by my doctor, so trust me. Minato Raiku nodded happily. In this case, Minamoto turned his head, moved his body, and got closer to Ziyun. I'm willing to join. He. Looking at the 3 graceful companions, Ziyun's heartbeat suddenly accelerated. Ziyun, we are going to the Fishman Island soon. Can you get up now? Outside the door, Camilla knocked on the door. Hearing Camilla's voice, Ziyun opened his eyes, looked at the 3 people around him, and couldn't help shaking his head. After patting 3 people, Ziyun stood up first. You 3, get up quickly, we've arrived at Fishman Island. As he spoke, Ziyun rubbed his lower back and stretched fiercely. Is this the end? Tsunade stood up close to Ziyun's back. Really? The time must have passed too quickly. Yeah, but I found a very good thing. Didn't I? Tsuna said while putting on his clothes. At least knowing that Ziyun is so capable, we can be crazier in the future, can't we? This is it. Drake laughed. Hearing what Tsunade and Drake said, Ziyun couldn't help shaking his head. At the same time, I couldn't help thanking Tsunade and Spartacus for strengthening their physique when summoning Tsunade and Spartacus. Otherwise, I might not be able to get up. It's great. So my dear, there is nothing wrong with that. Minamoto Reimitsu stood up and took Ziyun's arm into his embrace. However, in order to prevent such problems in the future, my dear, Lei Guang will definitely make a lot of dishes to nourish the body. No need, Ziyun said with the corners of his mouth twitching. No, this is what I should do as a wife, and I will definitely not slack off. Lei Guang said. Haha, just let Minamoto Reimitsu do it. Anyway, if you eat a little, it won't be harmful to your body. Tsunade patted Ziyun's shoulder and said. All right. Ziyun shook his head and said helplessly. That is the golden deer of the Drake pirates. Page 390. Boss Jinbe, Admiral with black hair, and his companions are here. I saw. Jinbe put down the telescope in his hand with a serious face. Ever since he learned that Ziyun's next voyage was set at the Fishman Island, Jinbe has been very uneasy, and immediately informed the king and queen of the Fishman Island after returning to the Fishman Island. In the following time, Jinping has been guarding the periphery of Fishman Island, waiting for their arrival of Ziyun and his party. In Jinbe's heart, since the arrival of the Drake pirates cannot be prevented, he should stand by their side to prevent conflicts between the rest of the people and Ziyun and others. After all, in Murloc Street, there are many Murlocs who are extremely hostile to humans. If they meet Ziyun and others, it is likely to cause conflicts. This is what Jinping doesn't want to see. If Ziyun takes his anger out on the Fishman Island because of these conflicts, the Fishman Island won't have the power to resist at all, especially now that Princess Ottoheim is running around about the coexistence of humans and Murloc Island. Jinbe doesn't want to see this matter affected. You too, hurry up and inform the soldiers at the entrance of Murloc Island, so that they know about this, and let them feel that they should inform King Neptune. Jinbe looked at his 2 companions and said, Yes, Boss Jinbe. The 2 immediately replied, and then they used their fastest speed to rush towards the entrance. I hope nothing will happen. Jinbe shook his head, and looked at the golden deer with a serious face. On the golden deer, while Camilla was waiting, Ziyun, who was dressed, finally opened their door. Too slow. Camilla looked at Ziyun dissatisfied. If I had known that your physical strength is so good, I would have absorbed a little more of your blood in the morning. Camilla looked over Ziyan to the three of Drake behind him. But you really know how to play, to be with the three of them. Hee, we should not be as good as you. Tsunade smiled and said, I heard little Jack say, what you taught her. Call me again? As soon as Tsunade finished speaking, Jack's figure appeared in front of everyone. Mom, hug. With that said, Jack jumped to Ziyan. Ziyan quickly caught Jack, and placed her on his shoulders, letting Jack straddle his neck. Damn it. It's obviously my exclusive seat. Not far away, Tornado looked at Ziyan and Jack's intimacy, and couldn't help biting his thumb. Well, sister, if you want, Ziyan will definitely let you sit. Blowing Snow said from the side. I know, it's just a little uncomfortable to see other people sitting where I used to be, Tornado complained. Come on, Fubuki, let's go too. After finishing speaking, Tornado walked towards Ziyan. Seeing his sister's anxious look, you smiled. Probably only you can make my sister look like this, Ziyan. Fuchs thought in his heart. After everyone had gathered, everyone went to the deck of the Golden Deer. Looking at the glittering Fisherman Island not far away, everyone showed great interest. Yo-ho, the sunny city under the sea, this is really amazing. Derek stepped on the side of the boat with one foot, showing a dangerous smile. If it was me in the past, seeing such a city, I probably wouldn't want to loot it. Maybe you'll keep it for yourself. Tsunade looked at Drake with a smirk. This? Probably will. Ha ha ha. Derek laughed. Okay, please stop for a while, someone is coming. Dia said, looking at his appearance, he doesn't seem to be here to trouble us. Boss, let me bring him here. It's Shiping. Page 391. Looking at Jinping who was swimming towards the Golden Deer in front of him, Ziyan returned. Well, I also want to know what's the matter with the guy who just got free from us. So, he came here on his own initiative. Dia nodded. Looking at Jinping, a ferocious smile was drawn on the corner of his mouth. Time stops. Hee, I really want to see what kind of expression this fat blue man will show. Is this necessary? Ziyan scratched his head, looked at the frozen world. It's just bringing someone here. Hee, boss, just take it as my bad taste. Dia waved his hand, and quickly walked to Jinping not far away. Immediately, carrying Jinbei's clothes, he returned to the Golden Deer in an instant. Then, time begins to flow. Following Dio's words, the frozen world began to flow again. Jinping, who was swimming with his arms waving at first, saw Ziyan and his party suddenly appearing in front of him. He couldn't help being stunned for a moment, then jumped suddenly, pulling away the distance between Ziyan and the others, and his muscles tensed up. Hee, didn't you come to look for us? Why did you see us and want to run away again? Dia suddenly appeared behind Jinbei, and said slowly. For Dia who appeared in an instant, Jinbei's eyes widened. He turned around abruptly, and looked at Dia in surprise. Why weren't you in front of me just now? Hee, tell us, the purpose of your coming here is to continue to be our slave. Hee. Dia opened his hands and looked at Jinbei with a manic smile. If that's the case, we welcome it very much. Hearing Dio's words, Jinbei slowly relaxed his body. I'm not here to be your enemy. Jinbei turned around and faced Ziyan, exposing his back unreservedly in front of Dio, without taking any precautions. I'm here to express the goodwill of our Murloc Island. The king of Murloc Island, King Neptune, will come to greet you soon. Saying that, Jinbei bowed solemnly to Ziyan and the others. It seems that you are worried about what we will do to Murloc Island. Ziyan walked up to Jinping and helped him up. Don't worry, I still have a good impression of Fisherman Island, and I won't do anything bad to you. As long as they don't come to provoke us, we won't attack Murlocs or mermaids. Ziyan helped Jinping up. Speaking of which, I still have a good impression of your son. Pirates, after all, it was the pirates founded by Fisher Tiger who dared to liberate the slaves of the Tanlong people. If it wasn't for your acceptance of the Navy's call-up, I wouldn't have locked you up if I took action against us. Since you're here, help me be a guide. I'm very interested in the mermaid girl from the Murloc world. Ziyan smiled and said, of course, you don't have to worry about me catching Murlocs and selling them. You must know what I did on the Chambord Islands. I have a deep abhorrence of that aspect of the slave trade. Yes, I will definitely be a good guide. Jinbei nodded and said with a serious face, hello, your excellency Ziyan, I am the king of Murloc Island, Neptune. Welcome friends from the Drake Pirates to Fisherman Island. Accompanied by Jinbei, it wasn't long before Ziyan and the others landed on Fisherman Island, when the tall Neptune came anxiously in front of Ziyan. Knowing from the guards that the Drake Pirates have arrived at Murloc Island, Neptune, who was still busy with political affairs, immediately putting down what he was doing, he felt the entrance of the Fisherman Island as quickly as possible. Oh, hello, King Neptune. Looking at the panting Neptune, Ziyan said with a smile, as a king, you should have a lot of things to do. You don't need to worry about us, just treat us as ordinary tourists. No, you are distinguished guests. Please come to our palace for a while. We will prepare special food from our mermaid island for you. Neptune said quickly. Let's talk about it later. I invited Jinbei to be my guide. Now I plan to take a good look here. If I have time later, I will go to your place. Ziyan said. Page 392. Hearing Ziyan's words, Neptune looked at Jinping, and when he saw Jinping nodding, Neptune relaxed a little. With Shiping following him, Neptune could feel a little more at ease. If that's the case, then I won't bother you for now. After you finish your shopping, please come and sit in our palace. As he spoke, Neptune saluted slightly, and then slowly left. Everyone, please come with me. I know a mermaid cafe, which is very famous, and the food there is also very good. After Neptune left, Jinbi hurriedly said to Ziyan and the others. After seeing Ziyan nodding, Jinping took the lead and walked forward. During this period, he continued to introduce the surrounding human environment to Ziyan and others. As for Ziyan's group's questions, he also answered them one by one. Soon, everyone arrived at the entrance of the mermaid cafe. It's Boss Shiping. Welcome, Boss Jinbi. Are you bringing your friends this time? As soon as Jinbi appeared, the beautiful Murlocs at the door noticed Jinbi and greeted him one after another. Is this the mermaid? It's exactly the same as the one in the legend. Ziyan looked at the Murloc in front of him with great interest. Why, are you fascinated by the Murloc beauties? Drake approached Ziyan and said, Haha, he is a beautiful Murloc after all, so it is only natural that he will be fascinated. Ziyan said, Hee, this guest's mouth is really sweet. One of the Murlocs came to the crowd. Don't stand outside, please sit inside. We will prepare our best dishes for you. Yes. Another woman continued, although you are human, since you are here with Boss Jinbi, you must be very good people, and we want to treat you well. Jinbi, it looks like you're very popular here. Ziyan patted the shoulder next to him, and then walked into the coffee shop led by two Murlocs. Jingle. As the door was pushed open, the bell rang, and the coffee shop also noticed Jinping and Ziyan's group walking in. Isn't this Shiping? It's really rare for you to come to my place. Xie, the owner of the mermaid cafe, took a puff of her pipe and said, is it because of the people behind you? Saying that, Xie glanced at Ziyan alone. Jinbi nodded. Xie, please treat these few well, they are also King Neptune's valued guests. Since you are the king's guest, there is nothing you can do about it. Xie clapped her hands. Okay, girls. The distinguished guests are here, take out your books. Come on, treat them well. Okay, boss. All the fish responded one after another, and then led Ziyan and others to sit down. And as Ziyan and others sat down, the two Murlocs also began to dance gracefully on their stage of the coffee shop. Phew. This time I really made a profit. I was able to see the mermaid dancing. Derek put his hands on the table, pressed his head against his head, and shouted happily, I heard that people who see the mermaid dancing will have very good luck. Then, will my luck change in the future? Okay. Isn't your luck the highest level? Ziyan said with a smile. If your luck is increasing, wouldn't it make Tsunade even more unlucky? I hope Tsunade's luck can increase a little, so that he won't lose money every time he gambles. That's true. Haha. Drake laughed. Hey, why did the tropic lead to me? Tsunade complained. Guests, please enjoy the fruits in the store first. These are unique fruits on the seabed. Please, try it. At this time, Xie came to Ziyan's table with a large plate of fruit. Thanks. Page 393. Ziyan smiled, and then picked up a grape-like fruit and put it in his mouth. Xie, who put down the fruit plate, did not leave, but looked at Ziyan with a complicated face. Is the lady boss still doing something? After swallowing the fruit, Ziyan looked at Xie and said, there is one thing I want to talk to your excellency, black-haired admiral. Xie took a deep breath and continued, my name is Xie, and I am the younger sister of the Murloc Harem you killed in the East China Sea. Charlie, what are you talking about? Hearing Xie's words, Jinbi suddenly stood up and looked at her in horror. Hey, so, do you want to avenge your brother? Ziyan looked at Xie with interest. No, I didn't mean that. Xie shook her head. Although Aaron and I are brothers and sisters, I haven't spent a long time with him. But as a younger sister, I want to know why you killed him. That Aaron intends to do the same thing as the Tanlong people in the East China Sea. Ziyan laid his head back on the chair. He intends to enslave the people of an island in their East China Sea, and let the islanders make money for them. And if they can't pay the berry they set, they will kill them. And I don't like his behavior. I don't know if this reason is enough. Well, since that's the case, then I have nothing to say. Charlie sighed. And you, Jinbi, are you going to avenge your former crew? Ziyan turned to Jinping and asked. Hearing Ziyan's words, Jinping fell silent, not knowing how to return. Hey, since Aaron did something wrong first, I can't blame you either. After thinking for a while, Jinbi said with a sigh of relief. Boom. Boss Jinbi, something is wrong. At this time, the door of the mermaid cafe was suddenly painted open, and the Murloc with the red sun symbol on his chest ran in front of Jinbi. Princess Ottoham, she was shot by a human. What? Say it again. Hearing his companion's words, Jinbi quickly grabbed the Murloc's collar and said, it's true, Boss Jinbi, I saw it with my own eyes. Just now, at Gelongkod Square, Princess Ottoham was seeking everyone's opinions on their peaceful coexistence of humans and Murloc Island. A human pirate suddenly shot Princess Ottoham. Right now, Princess Ottoham is very weak, Her life is coming to an end. How could such a thing happen at this time? Jinbai widened his eyes. Sorry, Your Excellency Ziyun, I have to go. Just stay here for a while, everyone. Saying that, Jinbi looked at Xia Li. I will trouble you to take care of these distinguished guests. After finishing speaking, Jinbi didn't stop, and rushed towards Jiankod Square with his fastest speed. Tsunade, let's go too. Ziyun pulled up Tsunade, and looked at the others at the same time. Everyone, you can move freely and smoothly, don't cause trouble for us. After finishing speaking, Ziyun and Tsunade immediately disappeared before everyone's eyes. Today, Ziyun's speed has already reached a height that is difficult for the world to reach. After he brought Tsunade to use his full speed, Ziyun soon came to Jiankod Square, near Princess Ottoheim. The Murlocs around only saw a flash of golden light, and Ziyun and Tsunade appeared here. However, they didn't pay attention to Ziyun and Tsunade. After being slightly surprised, they all continued to look at Princess Ottoheim surrounded by guards. On the other side, a burly soldier is holding up a human pirate and walking towards people. Everyone, this is the human being who shot and attacked Princess Ottoheim. What did you say, Hody Jones? Is this the man who attacked Princess Ottoheim? Hearing the soldier's words, those who knew him nearby were shocked. Page 394. That's right, I saw him holding this gun with my own eyes. He attacked Princess Ottoheim. Hody Jones took out a rifle and said, at that time, I tried my best to stop him, but I still couldn't stop him in time. Hearing Hody Jones' words, the Murlocs and mermaids in the square were all shocked, and complaints kept coming from their mouths. Although I respect Princess Ottoheim very much, this human pirate attacked our most respected princess. This fully demonstrates that human beings cannot be trusted. Trust in vain will only return their harm. So, I, Hody Jones, firmly oppose peaceful coexistence with humans, and we Murlocs don't need to cooperate with humans. On the contrary, we should be vigilant against the entire human race. Hearing Hody Jones' words, the people of Murloc Island fell into deep thought. Their beloved Princess Ottoheim has been working hard for peaceful coexistence with human beings, and they are willing to believe what Princess Ottoheim said. However, the fact is that such Princess Ottoheim was attacked by human pirates. They couldn't help but have doubts about Princess Ottoheim's thinking. Queen. Wow. At this moment, a little girl's cry came from the place surrounded by the guards of Murloc Island. Don't die. Following her cry, the people of Fishman Island immediately forgot to come over. Therefore, as the cries came out, a few huge sea kings even appeared on the surface of the sea. Not far away. Is this the Sea King Poseidon? Looking at the crying Princess Baixing, Ziyun thought in his heart. The next moment, Ziyun led Tsunade beside Ottoheim. At this moment, Ottoheim closed her eyes tightly, with a trace of worry remaining on her face. And her heartbeat has also stopped at this moment. The appearance of Ziyun and Tsunade instantly attracted the attention of soldiers, King Neptune and others. No wait, King Neptune spoke, and the soldiers took up their weapons and rushed towards Ziyun and Tsunade. However, before they got close, a huge spiritual pressure enveloped the soldiers present, causing them to lie on the ground. Afterwards, Ziyun stretched out his finger, and the purple light shot at the dead princess Ottoheim, outlining the mysterious runes on her body. Your Majesty Ziyun, what are you going to do? Seeing Ziyun's behavior, Neptune immediately said worriedly, if you don't want your wife to die, just stay aside, Neptune. Ziyun squinted at Neptune. Your Excellency Ziyun, you mean to say that my wife is not dead yet? Neptune opened his mouth wide, and at the same time stopped his footsteps so as not to disturb Ziyun. It is indeed dead, but as long as it hasn't been dead for a long time, I can bring her back. Ziyun raised the corner of his mouth and said, as the queen in charge of the Kingdom of Shadows, Scathach can fix the runes of the dead and undead, so naturally she will. And Ziyun, who inherited the rune ability from Scathach, can naturally use it too. Although it is impossible to heal the dead, it is still possible to fix the soul that is about to leave the body a little bit. Tsunade, I'll leave it to you. After drawing the runes, Ziyun looked at Tsunade beside him. Tsunade understood, smiled and walked in front of Princess Ottoheim, his hands emitting a gentle green light and pressing on the place where she was hit by the bullet. After Ziyun promised that Ottoheim would not die for the time being, Tsunade boldly treated Ottoheim. It didn't take long for the bullet in Ottoheim's body to be taken out by Tsunade, and the wound on her body recovered as before. If it weren't for the bloodstains on her clothes, Ottoheim would have looked as if she hadn't been injured at all. Seeing Ottoheim's wounds healed, King Neptune, Princess Shirahashi and the three third princes looked at Ottoheim expectantly. On the other side, Hody Jones had already clenched his fists, looking at Ziyun and Tsunade with a gloomy expression. Seeing Ottoheim's wound recovering, Ziyun waved his hand, and the purple rune culture on Ottoheim's body dissipated into the air for a little bit of purple light. With the disappearance of the runes, Princess Ottoheim, who was already dead, suddenly opened her eyes in the astonishment of Neptune and the others. I am not dead. This is Princess Ottoheim touched the place where she was shot. Her face was full of surprise, and she looked at the family members around her suspiciously. Mother. Princess Bakesing was the first to react, and big tears began to fall from her eyes. Page 395. It dripped on the ground and made a huge splash. I thought I'd never see you again. Woohoo. After Bakesing shed tears of joy, King Neptune and the 3/3 princes also reacted and wept with joy. At the same time, Neptune also told Princess Ottoheim what Xian and Tsunade did to her just now. The surrounding Murloc Island countries burst into cheers when they saw the dead Ottoheim come back to life. Among them, only Hoddy Jones, whose face was so gloomy that it was about to drip. Is that so? After learning the ins and outs of the matter from her husband, Neptune, Princess Ottoheim, immediately standing up, he bowed deeply to Xian and Tsunade. Thank you very much, Your Excellency Xian. Miss Tsunade, you not only saved my life, but also saved the chance for humans and Fishman Island to coexist peacefully. Thank you very much. Neptune, Princess Shirahashi and the 3/3 princes also looked like hurrying to learn Ottoheim, and bowed to Xian and Tsunade. The citizens of Fishman Island, as you can see, even humans are willing to lend a helping hand to us. Just now, the human beings Xian Dono and Tsunade Dono saved my life. Ottoheim took a deep breath, and looked at the citizens of Murloc Island standing in the square. So, I sincerely invite everyone to contribute to the peaceful coexistence of Fishman Island and mankind. I hope everyone can leave your signature on this peace prayer. Even if Xian and the others saved you, so what? Regardless of the dissuasion of other soldiers, Hoddy Jones brought the humans who attacked Ottoheim to Ottoheim forcibly. Princess Ottoheim, don't forget that there were humans who shot you just now. I believe that there are only a few malicious humans, and most of them are still willing to accept us. Otsuki shook her head and said, Hoddy Jones, stand down. As a soldier, you only need to do what you should do. King Neptune looked at Hoddy Jones, frowned and said, King Neptune, Princess Ottoheim, don't be deceived by these two humans. Hoddy Jones raised his finger and pointed at Xian and Tsunade. They are willing to save Princess Ottoheim for an ulterior motive. Maybe they are trying to gain your trust, and then they will hide from everyone and come to plunder our wealth and even capture our people. Hoddy Jones turned around and faced the Murlocs in the square. Everyone, don't forget that in the human world, we Murlocs and mermaids have always been the targets of their capture and trafficking, and I don't know how many people have become their slaves. Tell me, have any of your family members been captured by humans, or have your friends been killed by humans? What Hoddy Jones said made the Murlocs in the square look gloomy for an instant, thinking of their companions who were captured by humans before. A little anger began to sprout in their hearts. No, it's not like that. Princess Ottoheim hurriedly stood up. Everyone, please listen to me, Your Excellency Xian. Next to me is firmly opposed to slavery. Maybe you don't know it, but he once deliberately released the slave who rescued the Tanlong people. His Excellency Xian? He is definitely a kind human being. TSK. Hoddy Jones smacked his mouth softly, and then continued to rule loudly. Even if this is the case, it cannot be ruled out that they are conspiring again. They, boom, Gigi ya. I'm so annoying. Xian withdrew his fist, looked at Hoddy Jones who was deep in the ground, and said with a gloomy face, Do you think I'm deaf? Comment on me and my companions in front of my face. Ah. As he spoke, Xian stepped on Hoddy Jones' head. Boom. Your Excellency Xian, what is this? Mouth looked at Xian worriedly. Your Excellency Xian, please calm down. Please don't talk to this guy. King Neptune quickly said that he was afraid that Xian would implicate Murloc Island because of Hoddy Jones. Sorry, Your Excellency Xian, we will take care of Hoddy Jones' matter in the future. Please don't be angry. Page 396. Jinping, who was watching from the side, saw Xian making a move, and rushed to his side, and said anxiously. Xian smiled indifferently, and slowly withdrew himself. Own feet. Cough, cough. After Xian withdrew his feet, Hoddy Jones struggled to stand up from the ground, with blood continuously flowing from his mouth and nose. Everyone, you have also seen that this is the most ferocious nature of human beings. They are vicious existences. Do such people deserve our trust? Hoddy Jones, you bastard, stop talking. Jinbi rushed to Hoddy Jones, raised him with one hand and said, No, for the future of Murloc Island, I will say it even if I am killed. Hoddy Jones said, Give way, Jinbi. Xian patted Jinping's shoulder, took Hoddy Jones from his hand, and landed continuous fists on his body. After a while, Hoddy Jones could only lie on the ground, unable to stand up again. At the same time, after seeing Xian's ferocity, the people of Fishman Island gradually turned from hesitation to resentment. After seeing Hoddy Jones lying on the ground, Xian turned to look at the people of Murloc Island. How about it, seeing me just now? Do you hate me, want to curse, want to attack me? Xian said with a smile. However, before you make a decision, you'd better think clearly about the consequences of doing so. After Xian finished speaking, he called out his brilliant king sword. Ziyun stood in front of him with both swords in his hands. The galloping red thunder burst out from the sword, and soon formed a huge red thunder sword light that went straight to their highest point of the Fisherman Island. Red lightning continuously emanated from the sword light, forming an area of lightning. It seems that a huge thunderstorm is brewing above the Murloc Island. Your Excellency Ziyun, please don't hurt our citizens. If you have resentment in your heart, please vent this resentment on me alone. Seeing the scene in front of her, Princess Ottoheim said excitedly, "No, Your Excellency Ziyun, I am the king of this country. Please let me bear your anger." King Neptune stopped his wife, stepped forward and said. Ziyun didn't pay attention to the two, but continued talking while looking at the people in their square. Break with humans and rule humans, maybe some of you have this kind of thinking. But, do you have the power to fight against humans? Sister Xinxi and the 4 emperors, none of them are Murlocs, and all the strong men in the navy are all human beings. What kind of mentality can make some of you have the idea that you can rule mankind? As he said that, Ziyun took a special look at Hody Jones lying beside him. The Fisherman Island is relatively peaceful now, isn't it also because of the care of the Whitebeard? Pirates? Being an enemy of human beings will really enable you to live a stable life and protect your family. If I swing this sword right now, who among you can stop me? After finishing speaking, the brilliant king sword in Ziyun's hand erupted with even more dazzling thunderlight. Even at the periphery of Murloc Island, at this moment, one can still see red thunder rushing all over the sky. Looking at the Murlocs who were speechless in the square, Ziyun smiled, scattered the red thunder on the sword, and concealed the shining king sword. In my opinion, Princess Atham is right. Among human beings, although there are people who hate the Murlocs, there are also many people who have a good impression of the Murlocs. If you push the human beings who are friendly to you to the opposite side because of the part of human beings who are unfriendly to you, that is the real stupidity. By the way, I would like to get along well with you, Fisherman Island. Looking at the Murlocs looking at him with fear, Ziyun suddenly smiled, and then looked at Princess Ottoheim behind him. Although I'm not a Murloc or a mermaid, you don't mind if I sign your peace solicitation paper? Hearing Ziyun's words, Ottoji was taken aback for a moment, and then immediately reacted. Of course, Your Excellency Ziyun, please sign your name. Ottoheim excitedly handed over a pen, with a happy smile on her face, completely free of their worries just now. Ziyun raised his mouth, picked up the pen, and quickly signed his name on the manuscript. I have a good impression of you, Fisherman Island. Page 397. So, I don't want you to go down the road of despair. I signed my name here. If you are willing to get along with human beings, you might as well sign your name. Of course, it doesn't matter if you don't sign. As long as you don't offend us, we won't take action against you. If you mess with us, it will become same as this guy. As he said that, Ziyun looked at Hody Jones, who was looking at him with a gloomy face, raised his hand casually, and used his telekinetic power to roll up Hody Jones and the captain he brought over to attack Princess Ottoheim, and flew away. Everyone looked at the two of Hody Jones flying away, but they didn't see the camera flying from Ziyun's side to Hody Jones. But even if people saw it, they wouldn't know what it was. Then, Ziyun took Tsunade and walked aside, leaving room for the people of Mermaid Island who were present. Well, are you going to sign? A Murloc asked his companion. Although I don't really trust those two humans, I trust Princess Ottoheim, and I want to sign. The human named Ziyun is so handsome, I want to sign it. A mermaid covered her cheek and said, You're an nympho again, but Master Ziyun is really handsome, and he even saved Princess Yiji, so I want to sign it too. Discussions from the Murlocs filled the square. Although some people were still hesitating, more people walked over thinking of Ottoheim, intending to sign their names on the solicitation paper. Seeing the intentions of the citizens, Ottoheim also showed a happy smile, and at the same time, she was even more grateful to Ziyun from the bottom of her heart. That, big brother, thank you for saving the Queen Mother. Behind Ziyun, the voice of Princess Baixing came. Ziyun raised his head, looked at the immature Baixing, and nodded with a smile. It doesn't matter, after all, as far as I am concerned, I don't want your mother to die either. That, big brother, tell me, can the Queen Mother's wish really be fulfilled? Can human beings really coexist peacefully with us? Baixing said, slightly worried. Although it can't be achieved now, in the future, Murloc Island and humans can travel peacefully. Ziyun nodded and said, in Ziyun's conception, after the overthrow of the World Palace, the new world established must be a world where people can live in peace. Of course, Murlocs and mermaids are also possible. That's really great. In that case, I must also go to land to see the world there. Baixing said happily. That Master Ziyun, can you tell me your story on land? Okay, Baixing is so cute, I would like to be a human. Ziyun smiled and nodded. Baixing, great, thank you big brother. Ziyun smiled, took Tsunade and flew up slowly, landed on the huge Shirahashi's shoulder, and began to tell Shirahashi the story of his coming to this world. At the same time, The signatures of the Murlocs are proceeding in an orderly manner. While Ziyan was telling the story, a creature shaped like a flame bird surrounded by blue flames imprinted into his perception. This guy is Marco from the Whitebeard Pirates. Why is he here? Looking up at the place he perceives, Ziyan quickly recognized the Phoenix Marco, the captain of the first team of the Whitebeard Pirates. After Ziyan looked at Marco, Marco's already fast speed suddenly increased, and when he reached the top of Ziyan, he quickly changed direction and fell towards Ziyan's position. Soon, he came before Ziyan. Marco, who was approaching Ziyan, turned over and quickly changed from the form of a phoenix to a human being, except that his two hands still exude flaming wings. Marco, who was spinning in the air, brought a violent wind, and with the flapping of his wings, he raised his feet and kicked towards Ziyan suddenly. Interesting. Facing Marco's attack, Ziyan didn't make any movement, but raised the corners of his mouth slightly. But Tsunade, who was at Ziyan's side, suddenly appeared on Marco's side. Condensed Chakra's fist brought a strong wind and hit Marco's head. Boom. Tsunade's fist was quick, hitting Marco's head just as Marco's kick was about to land on Ziyan's body. The powerful strange force erupted quickly, and before Marco could react, he smashed to the ground, forming a huge deep pit. Tsunade didn't stop after hitting Marco. He raised his foot in the air and stepped on Marco on the ground. Heaven guards the feet. Boom. Page 398. As Tsunade landed with one foot, the ground centered on her instantly collapsed, and there, surrounding tens of meters of ground shattered, forming pieces of broken soil. Yeah, this is really dangerous. Not far from Tsunade, Marco flapped his wings and landed on the ground. Rubbing his face that was smoldering with blue flames, Marco said, "It was really painful just now. How did such a thin arm swing such a powerful fist?" Do you want to know? Then use your body to experience it. Tsunade squeezed his fist, and wanted to walk towards Marco. Also, it looks like you're quite resilient. Wait, Tsunade don't know. Jinbe hurriedly moved between Marco and Tsunade. Please don't fight, both of you. What's their matter? We can sit down and talk. Yes, both of you. King Neptune followed Jinbe and came between them. Oh. This is not what I'm looking for. With one hand on his hip, Tsunade looked at the two Neptunes standing in front of him with a displeased face. This is Pineapple Head who attacked our Land King first. If this is the case, isn't it normal for me to fight back against him? Pineapple Head. This is really. Marco touched his head. It's not that similar. That's right, Your Excellency Marco. Why did you attack Your Excellency Ziyan? There should be no conflict between the Whitebeard Pirates and the Drake Pirates. Neptune asked Marco. Did you forget, Neptune, you called your father before, and said that the Drake Pirates are about to arrive at your Murloc Island. And you are also very worried about their arrival. And it is because of this that Dad brought us here. Marco looked up at Neptune and said, "So, Whitebeard is here too?" Neptune said in surprise. "Yeah, I'm fast, so I'll come here first. Dad and the others will arrive here soon." Marco nodded. "So, you don't have to be afraid of the Drake Pirates. We will not let them make trouble in your country." That's what Daddy meant. That, Your Excellency Marco, we didn't conflict with His Excellency Ziyan. Neptune touched his head and said, Marco looked at Neptune suspiciously. "Just now we clearly felt that there is a red thunder here that can destroy the Murloc Island. Could it be that they sent it?" "You are mistaken, Marco." Jinbe stepped forward and quickly told Marco the ins and outs of the incident. Haha, so that's how it is. I thought you guys were going to attack Murloc Island. Marco rubbed his head, looked at Ziyan and Tsunade with apologetic expression. "I'm really sorry just now. I'm sorry." "Kula-la-la-la-la, it's okay, my friend, Neptune." Marco had just finished speaking when a powerful voice came through not far away. It's Edward Newgate Whitebeard and the members of the Whitebeard Pirates. "Oh my god, the Whitebeard Pirates have come to Murloc Island. What is he doing?" Seeing the white-bearded seaman appearing behind them, the Murlocs in the square quickly made way for the white-bearded pirates to pass. Whitebeard. Seeing Neptune quickly dragged his huge body and moved over. "Welcome, Whitebeard. I didn't expect you to be willing to help us." "Cola, la 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 la, of course, if a friend is being bullied, of course we will come here." Whitebeard smiled and said, "Tell me, don't you, little ones?" "Of course, father." The members of the Whitebeard Pirates replied one after another. Page 399. That, Dad, we seem to have misunderstood the Drake Pirates. Marco came in front of Whitebeard. Ziyan and the others didn't intend to take action against Murloc Island. On the contrary, they also helped Murloc Island. "Oh. That's it. Kula-la-la, it seems that Ziyan is still a good boy." Whitebeard turned his head to look at Ziyan, who jumped off Baik Singh's shoulder. "How about it, boy? You want to be my son?" "I reject." Ziyan waved his hand and interrupted Whitebeard's words. "Why don't you Whitebeard pirates come to our place to do things?" Ha ha. People in the square opened their eyes wide when they heard Ziyan's words. "You guys, do you want the Whitebeard Pirates, one of our 4 emperors, to join you?" "You think too highly of yourself, don't you?" Hearing Ziyan's words, Diamond the captain of the third team of the Whitebeard pirates. Joz said dissatisfied. Then why do you think that you are qualified to let our king be the son of your captain? Tsunade pursed his lips, and said dissatisfiedly, I don't want to suddenly have such a father who accepts his son casually. Kulalala, it seems that Ziyun is a proud person, and the daughter beside you is also very proud. Whitebeard stopped Joz, who wanted to say something, however. Do you want to fight with me? I'm very curious about the strength of your Drake pirates, especially your strength. If you win, you can get the title of the strongest in the world. If you lose, you will come to be my son. Kulalala. Oh, Whitebeard, you really know how to do business. Ziyun shook his head. The strongest in the world is just lip service, but if I lose to you, I will take on my entire pirate group. The entire Blue Star. No matter how you say it, it's my loss. How about, if I win, how about you bring the whole Whitebeard pirates to join us, Blue Star? Ha. Kulala, interesting kid. Seeing Ziyun's confident expression, Whitebeard laughed and said, are you so confident that you can win me over? However, we are free pirates. Although I don't think I will lose, I don't intend to join you. Won't you lose? Since this is the case, why don't you give it a try? Ziyun smiled and said, if you lose, I won't force you to join us, but I will accept the wealth on your ship. Ha. Hee. This is really the behavior of pirates. Whitebeard raised a long knife in his hand and punched the ground vigorously. However, it's very interesting, isn't it? If this is the case, I'll play with you. Come and let me see what kind of power the leader of Blue Star is, who can make the Navy and the world government suffer many times. Kulalala, little ones, after I snatch the wealth of the Drake pirates, we will have a good banquet. Oh. Of course, father. Come on, Dad. Teach him a lesson. The crew of the Whitebeard pirates shouted loudly. Ziyun, are they enemies? Just as the Whitebeard pirates were cheering for Whitebeard, Ziyun's partner from their mermaid cafe came behind him. Enemy? Probably not. Ha. Ziyun smiled and replied to Scather who walked beside him, however, this Whitebeard is going to fight me, and the winning side will get the other party's treasure. Whitebeard, is that the guy who claims to be the strongest man in the world? The corners of Scar's mouth curled up, and he looked at the Whitebeard with a little interest. Yun, since you want to fight, leave it to me. I really want to see how powerful the strongest man in the world is. You woman, this is a matter between our captain and your leader. What qualifications do you, a crew member, have to get involved? Joz stepped forward dissatisfied. If you want to fight, how about fighting with me? Saying that, Joz's body was covered with a layer of crystal-clear diamonds, and he looked at Scather with a serious face. Joz is right. The general is against the general. The king is against the king. Just relying on your status as a general will not let you get in touch with our king, Marco said lightly. Then if I defeat all the crew members of your Whitebeard pirates alone, can I fight? Whitebeard. Scather looked at Josie. Or start with you. Don't be so arrogant, woman. Page 400. Yes, to defeat all of us, there must be a limit to arrogance. Joz, teach her a lesson. Hearing what his companion said, Joz looked serious. Although Scathach did not appear in front of the eyes of the world, nor was it heavily reported by the Navy, but the crew of the Drake pirates has several very powerful guys. Therefore, Joz didn't dare to underestimate Scather. Hey, Ziyun, is that why you let your crew act like this? Whitebeard said with a frown, apparently dissatisfied with Scathach's sudden intrusion. Scathach is more than just my companion, Whitebeard. Ziyun shook his head. She is also my female partner and my spearmanship teacher. Since she wants to fight with you, I will support her. And, in my opinion, she has every right to fight you, Whitebeard. Hearing Ziyun's words, Scar smiled, and suddenly appeared in his hand his death-piercing spear, and quickly stabbed at Josie. Laugh. How is this possible? Joz stabbed the red spear in his chest in surprise. The diamond on his body was like glass, and was pierced by Scathach's death-flying spear. It broke through and directly came to his heart. As long as the spear advanced 1 centimeter, he can touch his heart. What surprised Joz even more was that he didn't react to Scathach's attack just now. That is to say, if Scathach wants to kill him, there is no possibility of him surviving. Seeing Joz's surprised expression, Scar smiled lightly, and drew out his spear. With the spear pulled out, a blood immediately it sprayed out from Joz's body, and Joz himself released his diamond state. Joz, are you okay? Marco reacted immediately. Come to Joz's side, hand. It has its own regeneration flame attached to it to heal Joz. Marco, Joz, is he okay? Whitebeard said with a gloomy expression. Father, Joz is fine, it's just some skin trauma. Marco replied, looking at Scathach with a little fear. In Marco's knowledge, only his father, Whitebeard, was able to break through Joz's diamond defense so easily. Woman, you pissed me off. Whitebeard walked up to Scathach with a gloomy expression and looked down at her, completely covering Scathach in his own shadow. You shouldn't have shot my son. In the world, no parent would see his son bleeding and remain indifferent. So, are you planning to fight me? Ha. Scathach spun the spear, pulled a reinforcement behind him, and switched the gun from his right hand to his left. I can keep Xian and the others from attacking, and give you a chance to challenge me. Challenge, hee hee, I really haven't heard such words for many years. Whitebeard laughed. If you didn't hurt my son, I really want you to be my daughter. Whitebeard raised his long knife with both hands. However, I still want to teach you a lesson. After finishing speaking, Whitebeard bulged his arms, swung the long knife in his hand with great strength, and slammed it towards Skaha. Facing Whitebeard's big knife with a strong wind, Skaha's mouth outlined a confident smile, holding the gun behind him with one hand. Just as Whitebeard's long knife was about to reach him, he thrust out suddenly. Boom! Block it. After the loud noise, the members of the Whitebeard pirates looked in surprise at Scathach's red spear against Whitebeard's blade. How is this possible? Marco opened his mouth in surprise. Even though he was always calm, he couldn't believe their scene in front of him at this moment. Just kidding. Even if Dad doesn't have the ability to use the Zenzen fruit, but Dad's own power is not. Just kidding. How did this woman splice her slender body against such an attack? Marco said in surprise. Good job, little girl. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. And join my Patreon if you want to support me, where you can find advanced audiobooks that hasn't been uploaded on YouTube till now. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.